Chapter 898. The True Dragon Inheritance can be sold to the most dangerous creature in the world. What could be deadlier than the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl and the Earth Extreme Silent Pearl? Both those pearls are extremely terrifying. The Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl was the most dangerous, while the Earth Extreme Silent Pearl could devour everything. These two items have already made the people at the gathering uneasy. It was unthinkable that another dangerous thing or creature was yet to appear. Once the news spread, it would be chaos. By then, the end of all things would give everything to find it. It was easy to unseal, but difficult to seal it back. The end of all things only required one thing to destroy everything, while the rest of the world would spend time finding powerful forces to fill the gap. Jianghao was no exception. According to Hong Yu, ominous things seemed to find him. Perhaps others thought that they still had time, but Jianghao didn't want another dangerous pearl. However, if the information had reached the gathering, it meant it might have reached somewhere else too. What kind of extreme thing are we talking about? Xing asked curiously. Gui thought for a moment. It's called the Heavenly Extreme Dream Pearl. Jianghao was speechless. This was the second time he had heard this name. The ancient and modern book had mentioned it. The Heavenly Extreme Dream Pearl. Everyone was puzzled. No one had heard of it. Everyone looked at Dan Yuan. They hoped he would give them some information about it. Dan Yuan looked at everyone and smiled. The appearance of the Heavenly Extreme Dream Pearl is close to that of the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl, but it was sealed before it was born. So, very few people know about it, and there's not much information about it. Is there no record of its information in the sage's pages? Zhang asked Gui. No. Gui shook her head. In the beginning, the sage's pages recorded such details. But after a while, the contents disappeared. Only some records are left, said Xing. At that point, Gui looked at Jianghao. Others also looked at him. Why are you looking at me? What do you want me to do? How would I know? Jianghao sighed inwardly. With the weakest cultivation realm here, how could he possibly know about this thing? Before, it was because the thing was in the Heavenly Notes sect, so he could find out. When Jianghao didn't say anything, they changed the topic of conversation. But they couldn't forget the Heavenly Extreme Dream Pearl. After going back, he would investigate it. I wanted to ask you all, who wants the True Dragon's inheritance? Gui asked. Everyone was surprised. The True Dragon's inheritance might be sellable. Are there many? Xing asked. Just one, Gui said. Why? Zhang was puzzled. My friend said that these inheritances are of no use to her, so there's no need to waste them. It's better to give them to someone with luck, said Gui. It surprised Jianghao too. He was thinking about whether to take it and give it to Shaoli. But Shaoli doesn't need any inheritance at all. Even if he did give it to her, she wouldn't learn it. Then should I give it to Cheng Chou? Unfortunately, Cheng Chou wasn't suitable for something that big. At present, he could only take one step at a time. When he reaches the Golden Core realm, he may be able to bear the inheritance. Perhaps with the blessing of the inheritance, he could even make it to the primordial spirit realm. Jianghao would help in any way he could. Cheng Chou had helped Jianghao a lot. Shaoli and Cheng Chou were also close. Since he always went along with her to her village, Shaoli respected and admired Cheng Chou. She felt very grateful. But before he could say anything, Zhang said, What do you need, Gui? The Heavenly Spirit Tribe's heavenly bestowed cultivation technique is something I don't have, said Gui. Just that? Zhang asked. Gui nodded. At that moment, Zhang understood why she needed that. It was because of the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was only half a gift. Only one true dragon's inheritance wasn't enough. The others did not speak. In fact, they all wanted the true dragon's inheritance. Whether they use it themselves or not, it will always be useful to have it, especially for Lu. There have been events related to dragons overseas, and having a true dragon's inheritance might be a good thing. The Fallen Immortal clan has been active in the south recently. They might be looking for someone, Xing suddenly said. Speaking of which, many people have gone to the south. There is a lamp-carrying disciple from the Great Thousand God sect, Lu said. The lamp-carrying disciple? Gui was surprised. A person carrying a lantern in broad daylight? Why is he so famous? That's because he is both the true body and an avatar. The avatar waits in the void and comes out when the body dies. He has as many lives as he might have avatars. It is said that there was a problem with the cultivation of the Great Thousand Spirit, which unexpectedly made him successful. He's difficult to kill, but he needs a lantern to illuminate his path. Otherwise, he'll be dragged into an endless abyss, said Lu. So many people suspect the origin of the Great Thousand Spiritual Law. What kind of accident can drag someone into an endless abyss? Doesn't he have any other weaknesses? Gue asked. There are almost no weaknesses in the technique. The lantern wasn't a tangible object, so it couldn't be destroyed. There are no other weaknesses. But he actually wants to break free from this undying state because the true body cannot ascend anymore, and his lifespan cannot be extended, Lu said. There are also some rumors in the East about him. His trip to the South may be related to the divine soul of the Holy Master, said Xing. People from the Heavenly Saint clan and the Heavenly Spirit tribe are on the move lately. It may be because the fallen immortal clan's immortal seed is about to bloom. At this, everyone was surprised. Jianghao didn't expect that the immortal seed would bring so many changes. Will the Heavenly Spirit tribe also become powerful? Gue asked. She was about to go there. Jianghao was quite helpless. He had offended the Holy Master, and that entity was about to become even more powerful. It was even more troublesome. Fortunately, the person who offended the Holy Master was smiling Sansheng. Is it related to something of the Heavenly Spirit tribe? Lu suddenly asked. Do you have any news, Lu? Star asked. Yes, but the information is on a member of the Great Thousand God sect. I can vaguely recognize the person, but I don't have a way to verify it, said Lu. Jianghao was surprised. Does he cultivate the Great Thousand spiritual technique? Yes. Lu nodded. I have a way to confirm whether the person is a member of the Great Thousand God sect, Jianghao said calmly. Everyone was surprised. Lu was astonished. Members of the Great Thousand God sect are not easy to find. Otherwise, how would they be able to hide everywhere and carry out their tasks without detection? What do you need in exchange, Jing? Lu asked. They didn't need to verify the information because Jing had never been wrong. So, he might really know how to distinguish members of the Great Thousand God sect. He'll tell you later. Jianghao currently had nothing he needed. There was no need to rush. The main focus was to get stronger. He needed to find an opportunity to find Feng Hua. Once Feng Hua was found, he might be able to find the person behind the stone tablet. At that time, Hong Ye would ask him to do things for him. He would then require a lot of help. Chapter 899. What big plan does Jing have? Overseas, Mr. Tao opened his eyes. He got up and walked to the window. He looked at the moon bright in the sky. He went outside, where Zhu Shun and Tangya were on guard. Mr. Tao. Zhu Shun was surprised. Are there people from the Great Thousand God sect nearby? Mr. Tao asked. Yes, it's someone who needs to be dealt with soon. He doesn't understand the rules and is causing some trouble, Zhu Shun said. Bring him here, Mr. Tao said calmly. In the moonlight, he looked scholarly. Mr. Tao, you don't need to come personally for such matters. I can handle it, Tangya said. Mr. Tao smiled. It's not what you think. It's for an important purpose. A moment later, a middle-aged man was brought in. He looked anxious. Senior, have I offended you in some way? What is your mission? Mr. Tao suddenly asked. I don't understand what you're saying, Senior. The middle-aged man pretended to be confused. Very well, Mr. Tao said. I heard that you harmed our people. No, it's definitely a misunderstanding. That whole family is dead and still they slander me. They deserve to die, said the middle-aged man. Mr. Tao looked at him without speaking, but secretly used a technique. Instantly, the man's spirit fluctuated, and he sensed the spiritual trace of the Great Thousand God sect. He didn't know what was happening. He looked at Mr. Tao in fear. Zhu Shun walked to Mr. Tao's side. It's been taken care of. Mr. Tao nodded. I remember we have quite a talented member of the Great Thousand God sect in our building. Yes, but we haven't been able to catch him, Zhu Shun said. Go back and prepare. Mark the most likely targets and invite them one by one for tea, Mr. Tao said calmly. Zhu Shun didn't quite understand. Tangya asked, Mr. Tao, Are you going to take action? Are you sure? Mr. Tao looked at Tanya and smiled. Tanya was speechless. Mr. Tao did not expect that it would be this useful. Even he, as the master of the heavenly tower, couldn't bear it. He needed to keep it a secret. The revival of the heavenly spirit tribe was not a good thing. Since the Bright Moon sect wanted to avoid it, he naturally had to help. The situation overseas was already complicated enough. If the heavenly spirit tribe became active again, it would be troublesome. When are we going to the dragon's nest? Tanya asked. The west is so dangerous. It was only logical to leave. But no matter how dangerous it would pass. They could still go there. There's no need to go there anymore, Mr. Tao said. Why? Tanya looked puzzled. You'll know in a while. Mr. Tao did not explain. Tanya rolled her eyes. Early the next morning in the west, Bai Zhu asked, Are you really not coming with us? The young woman in front of her looked different. A large bird was hovering around her. I want to walk my own path, Chu Jie smiled and said. I want to prepare for my future. Bai Zhu guessed that Chu Jie was preparing to ascend to immortality. Otherwise, what realm would she need to lay the foundation for? Some people, after building the foundation, were already preparing for the ascent to immortality, while she was still refining her cultivation. These are for you. After thinking for a moment, Chu Jie asked, Are you really only 18 years old? Bai Zhu was speechless. A piece of dragon scale and a dragon marrow were placed in her hands. The true dragon's inheritance was given to her. Bai Zhu was given all the good things Chu Jie had gotten her hands on. Bai Zhu felt helpless. In the past, she was the one giving gifts to others. She was the wealthiest princess in the south, after all. Who could compare to her wealth? It was touching that she was receiving gifts from someone else. What moved her was that Chu Jie didn't even think twice before giving something like this away. Then he'll be going. Chu Jie waved at her with a smile. Bai Zhu felt strange. They might never meet again. Wait, Bai Zhu stopped her. She held Chu Jie's hand. I want to give you something too. Chu Jie shook her head. I don't need anything. You do. Believe me, Bai Zhu said seriously. What? Chu Jie didn't know what she might need. Fortune, cultivation opportunities, magic tools, pills, cultivation techniques, spirit stones. She didn't lack any of these. Even if she didn't have them now, she could earn them easily. There was nothing she lacked. Whether it was the true dragon's inheritance or a common cultivation technique, they were no different to her. Even if she cultivated the most ordinary technique, she could still cross the threshold between mortal and immortal. Do you have this? Bai Zhu took out a pile of coarse grains and a pile of cured meat. If you go to some places, these things are the most scarce. The others are not as good as these. Moreover, some places experience drought and famine. Do you have a way to feed yourself? Take these. It's not enough for your journey, but it'll be useful. Maybe you'll need to learn a way to plant crops to feed yourself. Here are cultivation methods and books on dealing with various situations. Take them all. Chu Jie nodded and accepted them. She indeed didn't have these things. And I'm giving you this. Bai Zhu held out a jade pendant. If you encounter any difficulties in the south, take this jade pendant and find some major businesses there. Let me tell you a secret. I might just happen to run them. Even if I don't run them, I have a hand in their establishment. So, they'll help you wholeheartedly when they see this jade pendant. You must accept it. You might not need it now, but you never know what the future holds. Chu Jie hesitated for a moment, then nodded and accepted the jade pendant. After that, she bid farewell to Bai Zhu and Xiao Yi. Annie Xiao goodbye. Sister Bai Zhu goodbye. Then her figure disappeared into the distance like a beam of light. Xiao Yi and Bai Zhu both felt that they might never meet again. When we see her again, she may have already become an immortal, Bai Zhu said with emotion. The Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment was really terrifying. Bai Zhu took a deep breath. Let's go, Annie Xiao. Let's return to the south. It seems like there's a problem with the Heavenly Spirit tribe lately. Bai Zhu let out a heavy sigh. For some reason, these past few years had felt full of catastrophes. When had it started? It must have been when Jing came to the south. He stirred up everything there. She didn't know what his purpose was. When the Xianyuan clan rose, the Saint Bandits had appeared, and the heart of the ancestral dragon had disappeared. It was all because Jing wanted something from the Abyssal Sea. With so many things happening, she didn't know if he was behind it all. When Baizhu was just about to use a special channel to hand over the items to Zhang, she received a note. On it was Zhang's recent discovery. Somebody informed me that the sage's pages are in the south now. Baizhu was stunned. Was Jing trying to lure someone to the south? Chapter 900. Chaos After the Gathering. Jiang Hao began to write down everything. There were quite a few gains from this gathering. It seemed that Xing owed him a huge favor, and Zhang owed him a smaller one. Lu also owed him something. Old Man Corpse Sea was apparently in the south. There was a possibility that Xing would leave the east too. The thing that needed attention was that the Abyssal Sea had flowed backward. It was probably related to the Dragon Clan or the 12 Heavenly Kings. The blossoming of the immortal seed would affect the Heavenly Spirit Tribe and the Heavenly Saint Sect, but the details were uncertain. The people of the gathering knew about the Heavenly Extreme Dream Pearl. The Grand Thousand spiritual technique was challenging to destroy. The lantern might be the weakness of that blindfolded person. He had taught Lu a small spell to identify the members of the Great Thousand God Sect. He didn't know if it might trigger a series of reactions. He was not afraid of the information spreading. He had only informed Lu about it, so there was no problem. In the early morning, Jiang Hao put away the notebook and prepared to go on a patrol. He was patrolling the White Moon Lake. He was unsure if there would be any danger there. According to what Xing said, those from the fallen immortal clan were approaching the south, and their presence was already known in the Heavenly Note sect. The danger could arrive at any moment. Lu had also mentioned some information about Qi Tian last night. The opponent was becoming more and more extraordinary, and his status and cultivation were rapidly improving. He had gained the trust of Heavenly King Taomu. He had become a close confidant of the king. In Heavenly King Taomu's territory, Qi Tian had become stronger. It's really like rising with the wind in a day, soaring 9,000 miles. Jiang Hao couldn't help but sigh. Qi Tian was getting the right opportunities. I hope it will be helpful to me in the future. Jiang Hao didn't care whether the other party was outstanding or not as long as they could help him a little. He just hoped Qi Tian didn't forget his promise. There was no need to go deal with him presently. Jiang Hao led the people to patrol the White Moon Lake. As soon as they arrived at the lake, Zhao Qingxue became excited. She led everyone and explained to them which areas were safe and which were not. Jiang Hao just let her take the lead. This way, in case they encounter people from the White Moon Lake, Zhao Qingxue would handle them. She was happy to do so. Jiang Hao also breathed a sigh of relief when the first day of patrolling went well. Zhao Qingxue and the others felt that patrolling these areas was actually safe. Jiang Hao didn't say anything. However, the subsequent patrols surprised him. In the outer sect area, he found people from the Heavenly Saint sect. In early September, he sensed the presence of a saint bandit among the crowd. Around mid-September, he discovered people from the fallen immortal clan. At the end of September, there were more people from the Grand Thousand God sect. The sheer number of these spies made Jiang Hao scalp numb. These people were all very powerful, and they had infiltrated the sect. Danger was everywhere. Jiang Hao tried to identify these people. Their goals were different. The Heavenly Saint sect and the Grand Thousand God sect were after the divine soul of the Holy Master. Surprisingly, the fallen immortal clan was looking for veins in the Heavenly Note sect to make the blossoming of the immortal seeds more successful. As for the Saint Bandits, they just wanted to steal opportunities. The only thing uncertain was what the Heavenly Note sect wanted out of this. Jiang Hao didn't want to get involved. He spent some time and finally found the most likely area without much conflict. They were patrolling the mining area. This time, it seemed that no one was targeting the mining area. The day before, Jiang Hao planned to change places when something unexpected happened. People from the Heavenly Gate sect arrived with Shangguan Qingsu. She found out that Smiling Sansheng had come to the Heavenly Note sect. Their target was the mines. After thinking for a moment, Jiang Hao chose to go to the edge of the sect to patrol. Lin Mo and others felt puzzled. Jiang Hao had frequently changed patrol locations, but they couldn't understand what he was doing. Zheng Shizhou also felt confused. Around late October, Jiang Hao asked Xiao Li to stay in the Spirit Her Garden. He informed Lin Ji and others that they needed to patrol with him and that they would have no free time. Senior brother Jiang, when did the sect cancel free time? Zhao Qingxue asked. Jiang Hao calmly said, if you want to leave, you are free to do so. Zhao Qingxue frowned. In the end, she didn't say anything. Lin and Mo was also curious why their movements were being limited. At night, they even had to travel in pairs as though danger would appear in any corner. They lived like that for half a month. Around mid-November, Jiang Hao looked at the sky. Now, we are taking an entirely new path. Remember this path. To return, you need to follow this path. The four people felt puzzled. Jiang Hao felt that a storm was approaching. The sect became busy. Some seniors from the Lawless Tower also returned. Lu Xingchen also arrived to talk to him. He said that the sect seemed to be preparing for something. Anything could happen. This patrol was very slow. Jiang Hao left something behind secretly every time he passed a place. When they almost finished patrolling the last route, Linimo finally said, Senior brother Jiang, the previous patrol route was all right, but now we're almost walking on forest trails. It doesn't look like a patrolling area at all. Yeah. Do you think the sect mission is a joke, senior brother? Zhao Qingxue also asked. Jiang Hao didn't pay attention to them, but looked up. He was looking at the area near the mines. Zhang Shizhou and the others were puzzled and followed his gaze. Then, boom, bright light blossomed in the sky. A powerful force erupted and swept in all directions. It's an enemy attack, Jiang Hao said calmly. Zhang Shizhou and others were shocked. The powerful force fluctuation came like a gust of wind. However, before they could ask what was going on, another equally powerful force erupted from another direction. Boom! Something rumbled in the direction of the cliff of Broken Hearts. Then, mist rose, and the Saint Bandits appeared. The rumbling continued, and the earth trembled. The sudden change frightened Zhang Shizhou and the others. It was too sudden. This is not good. We need to check it out, shouted Lin and Mo. Then they went inside. Zhao Qingxue followed. Jiang Hao looked at them. It was a good thing the sect had such people who wanted to fight for them. Unfortunately, they were too weak, and they didn't know how powerful the person attacking the sect really was. The people from the sect also saw them. At that time, they just wanted to protect themselves. Many demonic beasts rushed over right at that moment. They appeared out of nowhere. Can the sect really handle this? Jiang Hao was shocked. Chapter 901. Senior brother Jiang has prepared everything. Powerful fluctuations erupted everywhere in the Heavenly Note sect. Jiang Hao's cultivation was not low, but he was still shocked. Some fluctuations were so powerful that even he had to take a step back. Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue had already entered, but it seemed they hadn't gone too far when many demonic beasts surrounded them. In the midst of all that chaos, the Saint Bandits emerged. The Saint Bandits were the most dangerous. Jiang Hao sighed. For the past 20 years, the sect has almost never stopped fighting. They only got a few months of recovery, and the battle started again. They suffered a few times, but they also won a few battles. Overall, it had been beneficial for the sect. It was just uncertain what the main goal of the sect was this time. Was it the Heavenly Saint sect or the Great Thousand God sect who had attacked the Cliff of Broken Hearts? Who had attacked the mines? Was it the Heavenly Gate sect or the Fallen Immortal clan? Or was it the Saint Bandits? They were everywhere. Jiang Hao suspected that the Saint Bandits were a compromise that the sect had to make. Suddenly, a roar made Jiang Hao turn his head. A group of powerful demonic beasts appeared. They were rushing to where Lin Mo and the others had headed. Lin Ji looked at Jiang Hao pleadingly. The latter sighed. They were members of his team, and they cared for the sect. Such people shouldn't fall here today. He didn't want to put himself in danger for the sect, but he would do his best to help these kids. He just hoped the Saint Bandits would target him. Jiang Hao was most worried about the Saint Bandits. The others didn't know him, so it was challenging for them to find him. Even if the Fallen Immortal clan and the Heavenly Saint sect went after him, he didn't care. They wouldn't come after a Golden Core Realm cultivator, after all. But the Saint Bandits were different. The one who was at the top would recognize him. At that moment, Lin Mo and Zhao Qingxue are surrounded by demonic beasts. They were trying to avoid the beasts, but had fallen into their trap. Linji didn't follow you? Lin Mo asked. No. Zhao Qingxue leaned against Lin Mo. I ran fast to shake him off. It seems that this place is stranger than expected. They'll help clear a path. You go first. He'll be behind you, Lin Mo said. At that moment, his aura was released. His strength surpassed Zhao Qingxue's, so he wanted to give her a head start. After hesitating for a while, Zhao Qingxue nodded. They had worked together in dangerous situations before. This wasn't a time to argue. Lin Mo didn't hesitate. He attacked the beasts. Without any reservation, he blasted through the group of demonic beasts. Zhao Qingxue rushed ahead at an incredible speed. Only then did Lin Mo breathe a sigh of relief. He realized that he had been reckless once again. He should have waited with senior brother Jiang Hao and acted together. This was beyond what he could handle. But he felt relieved that he wouldn't be dragging others down with him, at least. Come on. He thrust a long sword toward the demonic beasts. The sword light swept across and cut the beasts off. These demonic beasts are nothing special. He wouldn't fall here if he could help it. Just when he thought he could handle it, a huge demonic beast appeared from somewhere. It bounded over to him. It was too late to avoid it. Boom! A powerful impact shook him. He was forced back. The beasts kept appearing. He felt insignificant and powerless. He thought he was very strong, but he wanted to turn and run at that moment. However, there was no way back. He felt despair. A roar sounded right at that moment. You have courage and talent. You have determination, and your heart is in the right place. Alas, you don't understand when and how to act. You have to think before you rush into things, said a voice. A figure landed in front of the demonic beasts. Clang! Boom! Powerful blade light swept in all directions. The demonic beasts fell under the blade, one after another. Jiang Hao landed on the ground and looked at Lin Mo. Lin Mo's eyes were filled with horror. He saw numerous beasts rushing like a tide toward Jiang Hao. He wanted to warn Jiang Hao. He expected him to be terrified too, but Jiang Hao just reached out and pushed him gently. Lin Mo flew backward with the impact. He flew away from the surge of the demonic beasts. Someone caught Lin Mo. Let's go. Zheng Shizhou led the way for a quick retreat. Senior brother Jiang is, Lin Ji stammered. It's fine. Senior brother Jiang told me to lead you all away. I'll be fine. Come on, said Zheng Shizhou confidently. Sure enough, a roar sounded from behind. Boom! A figure stood among the demonic beasts. His blade rose up and fell. His steps were light. He walked through the tide of demonic beasts as if it didn't matter. He was calm and unhurried. He was like a giant standing between heaven and earth. Lin Mo was in a daze. The gap between himself and Jiang Hao was like heaven and earth. Zhao Qingxue was also shocked. Could a golden core realm cultivator be so powerful? Zheng Shizhou didn't let them linger long and walked in the direction of more demonic beasts. Senior brother Zheng, isn't this the wrong way? Zhao Qingxue asked. Obviously, there are many demonic beasts here. Senior brother Jiang asked us to go this way. If he said it, it wouldn't be wrong, Zheng Shizhou said seriously. Zhao Qingxue didn't understand why Jiang Hao couldn't be wrong about it. He was a person, after all. Soon, the demonic beasts caught up to them. Zheng Shizhou led them to the original path, and the demonic beasts chased after them. In an instant, runes appeared around them. 100,000 divine, sword talisman, and earth-shattering talisman began to activate all around them. It gave Zheng Shizhou and the others time to escape. They found a forest of formations on that path. The demonic beast attacks wouldn't even touch them here. It was the safest route. Lin Mo and the others were astonished. Senior brother Jiang Hao had actually prepared all this. Jiang Hao stood amid the demonic beasts and watched Zheng Shizhou and the others escape. He breathed a sigh of relief. It's much safer once they enter the road. The path had many terrains, so hiding and defending themselves would be easier. As for him, he hadn't wanted to get involved. However, the heavenly fate misfortune pearl reacted a bit. Someone was going for the blood pool. It forced him to act. The changes in the blood pool made the heavenly fate misfortune pearl react. If the blood pool erupted, he would be the first one to perish. He needed to strengthen the seal so that the changes in the blood pool wouldn't affect him. With a sigh, Jiang Hao avoided the sea fog and headed toward Devil's Denver. It wouldn't be difficult to find who had tampered with the blood pool. Gu Jin would tell him. He still couldn't get involved in the sex conflict directly. He could only wait for everything to resolve itself. He just didn't know who would win in the end. Chapter 902. How long has it been since we first met? After leaving the forest, Jiang Hao transformed into the appearance of a scholar. He had turned into smiling Sansheng. He held the 1,000 Faces treasure fan in his hand. The fan opened. 1,000 Faces was written on one side, while the other side read, "Unparalleled in the world." Jiang Hao smiled and headed to Devil's Denver. Along the way, he saw many people engaged in a fight. Mostly, it was the Heavenly Note sect fighting against the Heavenly Saint sect and the Great Thousand God sect. Since the fight was in the sect, it gave the Heavenly Note sect an advantage. Boom! At that moment, a person was sent flying. He just happened to fall in front of Jiang Hao. It was a woman from the law enforcement hall. Jiang Hao thought he had seen her before. "Are you okay?" Jiang Hao asked with a smile. When she saw him, her eyes narrowed. Smiling Sansheng. There was no record of this person in the plan backup. How did he appear? At that moment, a distant rumbling sounded. Oh no! The woman from the law enforcement hall was shocked. She hadn't followed the plan, and the other party was about to break free. At that moment, a middle-aged man broke through the encirclement and came straight toward the woman. If he killed her, he could break free. It was too late. A blade flashed as she thought about how to get out of the situation. It was the fifth form of the heavenly blade, Tao Inquiry. The middle-aged man faced the blade head-on and then fell to the ground, unconscious. The woman was shocked. She looked at Smile Sansheng. He was slowly putting away his fan. He walked to the middle-aged man with a smile and took his storage treasure. "Can I have this?" Everyone there was stunned. Then, Jiang Hao disappeared on the spot. The woman got up. That was Smiling Sansheng. We don't know whether he is an enemy or a friend. Meanwhile, Jiang Hao headed to Devil's Denver. He walked in. The deeper he went, the more he felt the tremble of the blood pool. When he walked inside Devil's Den, he realized that this place was unexpectedly calm, unlike the raging fight outside. After a while, Jiang Hao reached the blood-red path. He held the fan up and walked along the surface of the blood pool. He stopped when he saw a familiar figure. At that moment, Gu Jin also sensed Jiang Hao's arrival. He opened his eyes and smiled. "We meet again." He looked at Jiang Hao. "How long has it been since we first met?" "Senior, are you confused?" Jiang Hao asked back. "How long has it been since we first met?" Gu Jin asked again. 5 or 6 years, Jiang Hao said after a thought. He remembered that when he first came here, he was at the early stage of the return to Void Realm. At that time, he was 33 or 34. 5 or 6 years ago, Gu Jin found it unbelievable. "So, you're only about 40 now?" Jiang Hao smiled, but didn't say anything. "Ha ha ha." Gu Jin suddenly burst into laughter. He laughed so hard that he slumped over. "Senior, why are you laughing?" Jiang Hao asked. Gu Jin held his stomach and took a deep breath. "Have you been to the West? Did you meet the Astronomical Academy?" "I did." "Senior, your name caused me some trouble," Jiang Hao said. "Tell me what happened. Maybe I can help you solve your confusion," Gu Jin said. "I have something to do first." Jiang Hao had no intention of chatting. Gu Jin snapped his fingers. Many mirror images appeared around him. There are 2 groups of people trying to do something. The Saint Bandits and the Fallen Immortal clan are trying to activate the blood pool. Did you come for this? Don't worry. They can't do anything. Tell me what happened, and it'll open a path for you to them. They can't activate it? Jiang Hao asked calmly. Do you really think the blood pool is so easy to control? Gu Jin laughed. I'm still here. Can they really do as they please with me here? They can't do anything unless the Fallen Immortal clan, the Heavenly Spirit Tribe, the Heavenly Saint sect, and the Saint Bandits unite. Jiang Hao made a mental note that this senior liked to talk big. In the future, when he took Gu Jin's form, he would act the part. It would make his disguise more convincing. At least, it won't make people feel that Gu Jin was similar to smiling Sansheng. But no matter how similar they were miles away from Jiang Hao. If they were in any way similar to Jiang Hao, it would be risky for him. Looking at the fallen immortal clan, it was evident that they were spread out everywhere. As for the Saint Bandits, it seemed like they could strike at any moment. Do the people of the fallen immortal clan still lack something? Jiang Hao felt that they were preparing for something big. Yes, they need precious blood, which can resonate with the blood pool and then trigger the power of the earth. It seems that the immortal seed is about to bloom. Gu Jin said. Jiang Hao looked at Gu Jin and couldn't help but admire him. He knew a lot. After that, he talked about the West and what had happened there. He mentioned Lu Ying. Senior, do you know her? Jiang Hao asked. Not really. Gu Jin shook his head. Jiang Hao sighed. He then mentioned the jade pendant of fortune. For pendants, Gu Jin was puzzled. You have one. Lu Mantian has one. Who else? The one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment has one, said Jiang Hao. And I'm not sure who else, he thought of Gue. But it was unlikely Gue had such an ability. There must be someone behind her. Any clues? Gu Jin asked. It's related to the curse, Jiang Hao said. The longevity curse tree. Gu Changsheng. Gu Jin sighed. So he has appeared. It's not very likely, Jiang Hao was surprised. He had seen the longevity curse tree before. He probably didn't come out by himself. Someone must have pried into it, Gu Jin said. But that's so difficult. It must be related to his origin, probably a curse. The one who got the last jade pendant. Are they proficient in curses? Have they ever peered into the Hunter Knight's curse? Jiang Hao was surprised. The curse of the Shangwan family was the 100 Knights curse, and Gue peeped into it. She had said she almost got discovered last time. She might have been discovered and targeted. Jiang Hao was shocked. He didn't think just a peek into a curse could attract such a terrifying fate. He needed to be careful. He looked at Gu Jin and suddenly realized that he had done the same. That was why there had been too many troubles in the West. Who won in the end? Lu Mantian? Gu Jin asked with curiosity. He lost, Jiang Hao said. He lost. Then, was it the one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment? She also lost. Was it you then? I didn't get involved. Gu Changsheng's spokesperson cannot win either. So who won? Chapter 903. The person leading the 12 heavenly kings to open the immortal path. Jiang Hao looked at the person in front of him. Gu Jin looked very confused. Jiang Hao thought for a moment. I guess none of the people who had the 4 jade pendants won. None of them. Gu Jin looked at Jiang Hao in disbelief. What did you do? You should know, senior, that I'm in no way that strong, Jiang Hao said calmly. So what did you do? Gu Jin asked. Jiang Hao looked at him. I just used a simple method to prevent everyone from taking action. Gu Jin looked at Jiang Hao. I don't quite understand what you're saying. The vortex was dispelled, Jiang Hao said. Gu Jin nodded and smiled. So, you mean your strength was not enough to confront Lu Mantian? So you used a simple method to break the vortex? Jiang Hao nodded. You're correct, senior. I could never be a match for Lu Mantian. Gu Jin looked at Jiang Hao. He was something else. He flipped the table itself because he didn't want to fight. It was a simple and straightforward solution to a big problem. Can you tell me what your simple method was? Gu Jin asked. Jiang Hao did not answer his question. The 2 pearls on his body should be kept secret even from Gu Jin. Otherwise, who knows what he would think? If he happened to be with the end of all things, then he could just use the blood pool to make the pearls erupt. That would be the end for all. He didn't want to die. Some people would keep their distance because they were scared of the 2 devastating pearls, but some others would chase after him relentlessly. Gu Jin was extraordinary, so it was necessary to be on guard. Gu Jin didn't think much about it. Instead, he asked, I assume you met people from the academy. How are they? Jiang Hao recalled Jing Dajiang. He just nodded. Then he talked about the matter of the dragon's nest. He wanted to see how much Gu Jin knew about it. Dragon's nest? Gujin was surprised. It's accessible now? It seems something must have happened there. Did the sage's pages appear there? Jiang Hao was surprised. He hadn't mentioned the matter yet. In the end, he nodded. The dragon's nest is normally inaccessible, but the sage's pages aren't ordinary. They like to appear in the most difficult of all places, said Gujin with a sigh. I've been a dragon's nest once before, and it didn't welcome me. I took something, and they held a grudge against me. I don't understand what's the use of guarding it. It's a waste not to share. Jiang Hao was speechless. Indeed, that was the reason. The dragon clan wasn't extinct. They would be unwilling to share the things that their clan might need. Dragon's Nest is just the former dwelling of the dragons, and the things there are very limited. There are not many records of it either. Gujin thought for a moment. The final resting place of the dragon clan should be overseas. The Abyssal Sea? Jiang Hao asked. I have actually been down to the Abyssal Sea. That is not a place where people can go whenever they want. There are many strange things inside. I didn't investigate much because I didn't have time. It's not entirely unlikely that the dragon clan might be down there, said Gujin. Jiang Hao thought of the recent events of the dragon clan and the heavenly spirit tribe. He looked at Gujin and suddenly realized something. He also attracted such terrifying existences, so there were many troubles in the West. Can the flowering of the immortal seed be stopped? Jiang Hao asked. It can be stopped temporarily, Gujin said. Back in the old days, the human emperor led people to defeat the immortal clan and left behind an artifact that could suppress the clan. That artifact might be failing. We could try to activate the artifact to temporarily suppress the flowering of the immortal seed. I remember the thing being in the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. Heavenly Spirit Tribe? Jiang Hao suddenly remembered that during the gathering, Guei and Xing were asking for information regarding the Heavenly Spirit Tribe. Guei probably wouldn't care, but Xing was likely trying to prevent it. Liu, who was looking for people from the Great Thousand God Sect, seemed to be doing it for that reason too. He wasn't sure about it, but he could ask where the artifact was and how to activate it. After all, the fallen immortal clan would target him and Shaoxi, so a little action wouldn't hurt. It would be good if it could be suppressed for a few more years. After that, Gujin thought about it and finally concluded that the divine object might be somewhere very difficult to reach. The Saint Bandits might know the details. As for the method of activation, the Heavenly Spirit Tribe and the Xianyuan clan might know about it. The Dragon Clan would also know about it. Don't you know about it, Senior? Jiang Hao asked. I don't. Gujin shrugged. The era of the human emperor has passed, and the era of the immortal clan has also passed. During that time, I gave them time, but they could only live in my shadow. While I was alive, I didn't have a need to stop them. You are still alive, but it doesn't seem to matter to you. Jiang Hao thought. Has this divine object been inactive for many years? He asked. Yes. Gujin nodded. Will it be very dirty? Jiang Hao asked. Gujin was puzzled. Probably. Jiang Hao made a mental note of it. By the way, Senior, do you know why the Abyssal Sea flows backward? It's a sign of the 12 heavenly kings becoming immortals, but they can't stop it. The entire sea is helping them. But to seize this opportunity, they need a great opportunity. Most likely, they need an outstanding person to lead all 12 of them to the immortal path. This also requires their luck to break through. The fact is, they probably only know that the opportunity is here, but they don't know they need to find someone yet, and they need all the heavenly kings. The Abyssal Sea's backward flow is the symbol of broken luck, and the sea can sense the changes in the sea area. That's why it's flowing backward. Can they succeed? So far, no heavenly king has succeeded. In this world, where can you find someone who can lead all the 12 heavenly kings on the immortal path? It's like turning the entire sea into an immortal domain. Even the Great Arrow War, their hopes were extremely slim. Chapter 904. Shaoli, Sister-in-Law. Becoming an immortal for the 12 heavenly kings was indeed challenging. Hong Ye had mentioned it before. It requires all 12 kings to tread that path together. Moreover, they couldn't be obstructed by the heavenly king's fortune. Achieving immortality was even more challenging for them than reaching the heavens. However, this matter had nothing to do with Jiang Hao. He was only interested in the Abyssal Sea. If it wasn't related to the Dragon Clan, he wouldn't bother. People from overseas could do whatever they wanted. It wouldn't affect him. After much thought, Jiang Hao wanted to take out the ancient pages and let Gu Jin take a look at them. However, he gave up. The ancient pages were related to the era. If it was used by Gu Jin, the consequences would be unimaginable. Although the other party didn't seem like a bad person, appearances could be deceiving. Even if the results turned out okay, who knew what might happen after? He himself was held back by his own evil. Who's to say that evil won't eventually take control? It was better to be cautious. Is there anything else, Senior? Jiang Hao asked. If there were no more questions, he would go find the fallen immortal clan. It was crucial to stop the fallen immortal clan. Otherwise, keeping Shaoli safe would be quite troublesome. Moreover, there would always be people eyeing him. If they started probing further, the consequences would be unpredictable. It was good to give them some trouble to deal with. The fluctuations in the blood pool made him worried. Even though it couldn't be activated, the heavenly fate misfortune pearl might get triggered in other ways. Gu Jin wasn't aware of his concerns. We talk a lot today, Gu Jin said. Be cautious about Gu Changsheng. He has found a spokesperson, and it may not take long for him to come out. He is highly dangerous, so it's best to find a way to restrain him. Restrain him? Jiang Hao was puzzled. Is this danger directed at me or his spokesperson? His spokesperson's fate depends on their luck. If they aren't careful, it could be dangerous for them. If handled properly, there will be many benefits for them. First, they need to break free from the opponent's absolute advantage. They might need a strong person to help them, Gu Jin said. The most direct way is to try to find out the opponent's existence and communicate with them. If they can achieve this, Gu Changsheng will have to reconsider his actions. In simple terms, he doesn't want anything to happen. As for you, he will also target you because you have my identity. If you won the fight for the fortune, he will definitely target you, said Gu Jin helplessly. When I defeated him back then, he turned a longevity curse tree to endure my torment. Now that you have become Gu Jin, he will certainly come looking for you. But you are still alive and here, Jiang Hao said. But he will find you first, Gu Jin said. Jiang Hao was speechless. Do you know about the longevity clan? Gu Jin asked. Jiang Hao shook his head. Do you know about the 100 Nights curse? Gu Jin asked again. Jiang Hao knew about that. Find a way to suppress it. Suppressing Gu Changsheng's connection with this world will make it much more difficult for him to come back, Gu Jin said. How dangerous is Gu Changsheng? Jiang Hao asked. Very dangerous. I can't tell you all the details yet, said Gu Jin. He has been exiled for countless years. It's uncertain if his thoughts are still his own. He's like me. Although I can communicate normally with you, I might not be me once I leave this place anymore. Gu Changsheng is the same. The place he was exiled to is not a normal place, and perhaps he's not himself anymore. So, evil has taken over everything? Jiang Hao sighed inwardly. These powerful individuals weren't normal, after all. After that, Jiang Hao talked with Gu Jin for a while. There wasn't anything important to discuss, so he headed toward the fallen immortal clan. This time, he gained a lot of information. He realized that he could always ask Gu Jin if he had questions in the future. The other party was truly a powerful individual with extensive knowledge. He had told Jiang Hao that the Shangwan family was a branch of the Longevity clan, and their torment was due to Gu Changsheng. Gu Changsheng was also behind Gue. To suppress Gu Changsheng, he needed to contact the Shangwan family, and Gue also needed to understand who was pulling the strings behind her. Jiang Hao's task didn't have to be too difficult. He just needed to stall for time. By then, he will have enough strength to evade powerful individuals. Even in the Great Era War, he could hide in an ordinary place and continue cultivating spirit herbs. He didn't have big aspirations. He just wanted to live life peacefully. So, the struggles of those talented powerhouses had nothing to do with him. He was in no rush. He needed to deal with immediate matters first. Gu Jin breathed a sigh of relief as he watched Jiang Hao. In the middle stage of the Immortal Ascension platform at the age of 40, is there such a person in this world? But doesn't matter now. He is already considered a member of the academy. When he becomes famous, he could even surpass the Clear Sky School. Back then, Gu Jin had wanted to lead the academy to glory by surpassing the Clear Sky School. Unfortunately, he hadn't been able to. Although he was strong, when he arrived in the south, the academy had to fend for themselves. This time, we could be successful. Chapter 905. The invincible smiling San Sheng Hong Yuye stood by Xiao Li and reached out to help her up. "What are you doing?" Hong Yuye asked. "I wanted to beat up these two bad people. Can you beat them?" Xiao Li looked puzzled, as if she couldn't believe there were any bad guys she couldn't beat. However, she quickly put aside these thoughts and took out 2 peaches from her pocket. "I saved these." She handed them over. "Are they sweet?" Hong Yuye took one of the peaches. "They're very sweet." Xiao Li nodded confidently. Hong Yuye took a bite. "Where did you go with the fruits?" Xiao Li was puzzled. "Nowhere. Let me see your storage treasure," Hong Yuye said. Xiao Li obediently took it out. Hong Yuye glanced at it. "Keep one for your senior brother." "Oh." Hong Yuye ate the peach. They sat under the house and watched the place getting bombed constantly. "Are you afraid?" Hong Yuye asked. Xiao Li nodded. "What are you afraid of?" "I'm worried that the house will be bombed and will fall on my head." "Anything else?" "I'm also worried my food will be gone and there will be nothing to eat." Hong Yuye smiled. "Apart from that, what else are you afraid of?" "I'm scared that senior brother Jiang will be angry at me. I was constantly afraid that my parents wouldn't want me anymore, or they might starve or be cold." Xiao Li's eyes turned red. "Senior brother Jiang is very good. He always lets me go home. Senior brother Chingqiu is also very good. He always went with me and helped prepare food for my parents. I thought they would always be with me. I thought they would watch me grow up." Suddenly, Xiao Li looked at Hong Yuye. "You and senior brother Jiang won't abandon me, right?" Hong Yuye was silent for a long time. "Senior sister?" Xiao Li gently pushed Hong Yuye's arm as tears streamed down her face. "We can live for a very, very long time," Hong Yuye said softly. "You won't suddenly fall asleep and never wake up, right?" Xiao Li asked. Hong Yuye nodded. Xiao Li looked glad. She looked around. "Where's the beast?" "Maybe it went swimming," Hong Yuye said. Xiao Li nodded. She didn't find that strange at all. The two fell silent for a while. "Do you remember anything from before?" Hong Yuye asked. "Before? The days when I lived with my parents?" Xiao Li asked. Hong Yuye was silent. "Before you met your parents?" "I don't remember." Xiao Li scratched her head. "Occasionally, I see some figures on senior brother. I see them on the beast too." "Figures?" Hong Yuye was curious. "Yes." Xiao Li looked up at the sky, as if afraid something would fall from it. "Yeah, they look very stern." Hong Yuye lowered her head and thought. "Why do you think of senior brother Jiang as your elder brother?" "My mother. She asked me to follow him no matter what. She said he was like my older brother." "Is that so?" On the edge of the blood pool, there were many formations. Many people stood in the formations. They intended to drive the formations with their own strength. By placing people as the foundation, the formation could turn out to be most powerful. At that moment, the middle-aged man in the center frowned. "It's been so long. Why haven't they brought the person?" "Maybe people from the Heavenly Saints sect and the Great Thousand God sect are fighting, so it's taking a bit longer," someone said. The middle-aged man nodded. Indeed, that could be the case. There was still no sign of their return after a while. "Try and contact them," the middle-aged man said. After some time, he asked, "How is it?" "What did they say?" "They said they would be back soon, and the plan is progressing smoothly." At that moment, a figure arrived next to the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man's eyes narrowed as he sensed someone beside him. A powerful force erupted. Their protective treasures activated. The sound of the blade being drawn echoed everywhere. Soon, the impact turned into a crushing force. The blade clashed against the defensive treasure. In the blink of an eye, it broke through the defense, met the attacking treasure head-on, and then the treasure was cut off by a single slash. The middle-aged man was shocked. He tried to escape. However, the blade slashed across his waist. At that moment, his vision blurred. He could see the blade touching his defensive robe. The robe shattered. The blade swept to his skin. A scholarly man swung his blade and sliced the middle-aged man at the waist. The upper half of the middle-aged man's body fell to the ground. His eyes filled with horror. "Who are you?" The scholarly man stood upright in the formation. The long blade in his hand turned into a folding fan. The fan unfolded. "Who do you think I am?" Smiling San Sheng? The middle-aged man was shocked. "Sir, you have no grievances with our immortal clan. Why did you attack us?" Smiling, San Sheng placed his foot on the man's head and smiled. "You are amusing. Do I need to hold some grudge if I want to make a move? Can't I just do what I want without reason? Well, now we have some beef, don't we?" Jiang Hao's blade was already in motion. Even before the opponent could understand what was happening, the blade had already swept across his neck. Boom! The corpse shattered. Smiling, San Sheng nodded and smiled. My, now we have bad blood. If you want revenge, I can humor you and kill you all to survive. Fair game, am I right? The members of the fallen immortal clan looked at smiling San Sheng with furrowed brows. They neither fled nor attacked. "Do you intend to be an enemy of our clan, senior? You should know that our clan is about to return to its peak, and those who want to be enemies will end up dead," said an old man icily. Jiang Hao nodded. "I see. It seems that you are indeed very dangerous. But you may not be aware of one thing." "What thing?" the old man asked. "You should know that I am about to become invincible too. Anyone, including every clan, will end up dead if they go against me. Now that you have bad blood with me, you'll end up the same, too." Everyone says that smiling San Sheng is arrogant and ignorant and acts recklessly. It seems you also have a habit of wishful thinking. The old man chuckled. At that moment, they secretly activated the formation. Since Jiang Shaoli hadn't arrived yet, they would use this person's blood. This person wasn't an ordinary person, after all. Their plan might still work. However, the moment he activated it, he felt a presence behind him. A blade pierced through him. When did that happen? It was impossible. He stared at the opponent. Even a cultivator at the early stage of the Immortal Ascension platform couldn't escape his shell lock. "I do have a habit of wishful thinking. I was wishfully thinking of cutting you down with a single slash. It seems it came true." Smiling, San Sheng laughed heartily. The blade swung. He used the first form of the heavenly blade, moon slaying. With a single slash, the man's body was torn open. It seems that wishful thinking does come true. Ha ha! Chapter 906. I just killed them along the way on the other side, around the blood pool. The Saint Bandits were waiting. They hoped for the fallen immortal clan's success. Then, they would steal the fruits of the other party's efforts. They did not want the immortal seed to bloom. If the immortal seed bloomed, the immortal clan would return, and both the Heavenly Saint clan and the Heavenly Spirit tribe would be favored by heaven and earth. Their strength would increase at an unimaginable speed. They would also break through difficult realms. They could achieve in moments what the human race would strive for a lifetime. But, although the Saint Bandits belonged to the Heavenly Spirit tribe, they were not favored by heaven and earth. Even if the Heavenly Spirit tribe regained their favor, they would still be outcasts. That wouldn't be a good thing. "Don't worry too much. Everything will be all right," said a man as he looked into the distance. "What we need to do now is to make ourselves as strong as possible. Without enough strength, we won't be able to complete the final task." The others nodded. They had their own things to do. As long as they could do them, the process would be smooth. Achieving their goals unscathed was impossible. The more they hesitated, the further they would be from their goal. They had to do their part. "The fallen immortal clan is a bit slow," Yin Tian said. "They have been waiting there for a long time. It shouldn't have taken this long." "Should we go and check?" a woman asked. "Two people can come with me to take a look," Yin Tian said. A man and a woman followed him. The fallen immortal clan was supposed to be near the blood pool. If they didn't come, it would be troublesome. Most of their plans relied on them. If there was a slight change, it would mean failure. They intentionally leaked the information about the blood pool so that they could completely take away the immortal clan's achievements. They had helped them a lot in the beginning. Do they know about us? A woman asked. It shouldn't be. We've made a lot of preparations. Tion shook his head. Could it be people from a Heavenly Note sect? If they found out about this, they would definitely try to stop it, said the young man with them. No, it shouldn't be. According to my speculation, the Heavenly Note sect is busy dealing with the problems outside. They need all their manpower for that. We deliberately made it so that the fallen immortal clan would not bring along powerful people to the blood pool. The formidable members of the fallen immortal clan are all outside fighting the Heavenly Note sect. So, the Heavenly Note sect is occupied. They cannot be here, Tion said. Maybe something unexpected has happened. Let's go and check. If you can help, take action. They cannot fail. The revival of that person depends on the fallen immortal clan's success. They knew some things that others did not. But to succeed, timing was key. They couldn't succeed under just any circumstances. They had planned this elaborately and roped the fallen immortal clan in. After a while, they finally arrived at the location where the fallen immortal clan was supposed to be. They had chosen this location, so they knew the safe areas around. At that moment, they sensed the pulse of the earth and a powerful force. But it was not complete. The three of them looked over, and their eyes narrowed. They saw a scholar in white clothes wielding a long blade. He was moving through the crowd of the fallen immortal clan members. His figure disappeared and reappeared, and his long knife swept like flowing light. The blade rose and fell, and the earth was scattered with corpses. Few could confront him head-on. After a short time, only one person remained within the formation. A folding fan appeared in his hand. The three were somewhat surprised, but they quickly hid. They looked at each other in surprise. Smiling San Sheng, Tion was quite curious. Why is he killing the fallen immortal clan? Because he happened to come across them, someone said. What kind of reason is that? Tion said instinctively. The next moment, he felt a chill behind him. Boom! Power erupted, and Tion retreated with his two companions. When he turned around, he saw a scholar standing in the position where smiling San Sheng had just been. I was just curious about what you guys were talking about, so I came over to listen. Smiling, San Sheng shrugged. They were the Saint Bandits. There was no need for Jiang Hao to make an enemy of them. These people had a peculiar ability. Only the Heaven Lock technique could deal with them. Is there anything you want from us, fellow disciple? Tion beat a hasty retreat. The other party had approached them silently. Although his cultivation seemed to be similar to his, every move and gesture was beyond his reach. This person was very powerful. He had heard that smiling San Sheng was in the return to Void Realm, but it seemed that the previous information had been inaccurate. Can I ask you a few questions? Jiang Hao smiled and asked. Of course. Tion nodded. Do you know if the Heavenly Spirit Tribe has an artifact that can suppress the immortal seed? Jiang Hao asked. He had been thinking about who would be suitable to ask for that information. Unexpectedly, these people had found their way to him. They were few, and he could deal with them easily. Are you trying to stop the immortal seed from blooming? Tion asked. I killed many of them, and am afraid they will seek revenge, Jiang Hao said casually, but Tion and the others didn't believe it at all. The thing does exist, but we cannot give you an accurate location because it keeps moving. Only those who have researched it know the location. Do you know how to activate that artifact? Jiang Hao asked again. Of course. Tion nodded. He tossed him a jade slip. The answer is inside this. Jiang Hao was surprised and quickly checked the jade slip. He found that it was indeed a method to activate the artifact. The artifact was called the Connate Stone. He had obtained it so easily that it made Jiang Hao suspicious of its authenticity. He then appraised it. It was real. It had been too easy. Do you know where the Dragon Clan went? Asked Jiang Hao. I don't know. They were sealed a long time ago, Tion said. Jiang Hao nodded and didn't press further. Instead, he disappeared on the spot. With the fallen immortal clan dealt with, the blood pool became stable. The remaining task was to find Shang Wanqingsu. It was necessary to prevent the return of Gu Changsheng, but he didn't know how long the fight would last. Outside, the Heavenly Note sect Mu Longyu wanted to visit the Heavenly Note sect to ask about Hai Luo, but he was surprised to find that a big battle had broken out in the sect. Powerful forces swept in all directions. It was like a large-scale battle. Mu Longyu sighed and entered the Heavenly Note sect. He might as well get involved, even just to build a good relationship with the sect. Chapter 907. The ones who were harmed the most were ordinary disciples stepping out of the blood pool. Jiang Hao felt a sense of calmness in the surroundings. The heavenly fate misfortune pearl showed no reaction, and the blood pool also became stable. He could now focus on finding Shangwan Qingsu. If he couldn't find her, he would go and meet senior brother Zheng and wait for this matter to end. He wondered what the final outcome would be. In theory, the Heavenly Notes sect should win. After all, they dared to let these people in, so they might already have the manpower to deal with them. Jiang Hao glanced at the core of Devil's Den, where the stars were flowing backward. He had no idea what lay beneath. Regardless of his cultivation realm, he had no intention of going inside. Sometimes it was better to stay away from such places. A slight carelessness could bring catastrophic consequences. When he left Devil's Den, Jiang Hao found that the battle was in full swing. Before, it was difficult to determine who had the upper hand. It seemed Heavenly Note's sect had a slight advantage. However, the situation was still dangerous around the mines. The enemies targeted the mines. They were probably from the Heavenly Gate sect. The sea fog of the Saint Bandits was dissipating. It meant they didn't want to continue engaging in the conflict. After waiting for 3 days near the mines without finding Shangwan Qingsu, Jiang Hao decided to leave and join senior brother Zheng. In the outer sect area, powerful fluctuations of energy forced Zheng Shurjiu and others to retreat. They encountered many dangers on the way. If it weren't for occasional runes and formations, they wouldn't have been able to pass safely. Lin Mo was injured. Some injuries were old, and some are fresh. He had realized that his strength and power were insignificant in the face of such an event. Jiang Hao, who had foreseen the danger, had prepared for retreat. He had instructed them in detail before he left. He had all the preparations in place for 1,000 miles. For a moment, Lin Mo truly experienced that he was nothing in front of Jiang Hao. The pride and confidence he had before were gone. We should keep hiding. The sex conflict is too great for someone as ordinary as us to do something about it, said Zheng Shurjiu seriously. He was afraid that these people would be reckless. Junior brother Jiang had handed them over to him, and he didn't want to lose anyone. They nodded and didn't dare to disagree. Zhao Qingxue was frightened. She had never seen such a big battle before. It was beyond her abilities. The seniors in the sect had no time or the energy to care about her, as they had always done. Roar! There was another commotion from the demonic beasts. The group quickly got up. They didn't dare to rest here. They would be food for the beasts if they lingered. At that moment, they felt fidgety and on edge. Every sound startled them. But soon, the commotion died down, and a figure walked over to them from a distance. Zheng Shurjiu hefted his longsword. Senior brother Zheng, it's all right. It's just me, Jiang Hao said. Then, he appeared in front of everyone. Jiang Hao remained calm and composed as if there was nothing that could move him in this world. When the 4 people saw him, they sighed in relief. They already felt safe. Thank you for working so hard, senior brother Zheng, Jiang Hao said politely. Not at all. Zheng Shurjiu shook his head. I'm glad that you're back safe. In a few days, the battle might be over, Jiang Hao said calmly. The others nodded. With Jiang Hao there, dealing with the demonic beast became much easier. The battle within the sect became more intense. 7 days later, everything calmed down. The number of demonic beasts also decreased. Around early November, the battle came to an end. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Although he didn't know what had happened, he believed the sect had won. 3 days later, the people from the law enforcement hall checked the surroundings. They found Jiang Hao and his group. From them, Jiang Hao learned that the sect had deterred a strong enemy. Patrol duties could be resumed. The patrol duties would be much more difficult because of the recent developments. They needed to be vigilant. Jiang Hao knew that they couldn't be careless after this. Usually after a great battle, there would be some people hiding around. Their injuries were not that serious, so they could continue with their mission. They were told to be vigilant and patrol the areas around them, but to turn a blind eye if they found someone formidable. After that, Jiang Hao and the others began to patrol. This time, they patrolled around various mines. The area was very wide, and they kept patrolling it without rest. The outer sect also suffered a lot of damage. Before the outbreak of the battle, some sect disciples had already dispersed. Everyone was recuperating. This time, the injuries are more severe than before, Jiang Hao murmured. He also saw some corpses as they passed along some places. Even though casualties were few, they were still present. Being weak was dangerous. The high and the mighty wouldn't bother with the others. They wouldn't care about the weak. The only way was to get stronger to stay safe. Only then could they survive. Jiang Hao continued to patrol. When he found injured people, he helped them get to the safe area. From there, the sect took over. The inner sect was better off, and each cave provided shelter. The outer sect bore the brunt of it all. All Jiang Hao could do was to use some healing techniques on the injured. He could only do as much as he was able. If the people were injured fatally, he was helpless to do anything. He wasn't worried about attracting attention because everyone assumed he followed the blood wish path. Lin and Mo and the others felt the same way. Zhang Shurjiu kept his head down and didn't think much about it. He never believed that Jiang Hao practiced the blood wish path. It was precisely because of that belief that he trusted this person unwaveringly. Jiang Hao would never harm others without reason. He clearly had principles. If one didn't plot against him or try to cause him harm, Jiang Hao never really made the first move to harm others. Jiang Hao patrolled the area and felt that the battle had hurt those with lower cultivation realms the most. 3 days later, Jiang Hao patrolled near the Cliff of Broken Hearts. He saw several outer sect disciples talking to each other. They seemed frazzled by the recent battle. Among them, a woman nodded and listened attentively. She looked surprised. She was a good listener. When Jiang Hao passed by, he talked to these people. When he talked with the woman, he activated his daily appraisal ability. After a moment, Jiang Hao turned around and left. She was Shangguan Qingsu. She actually stayed within the sect. Quite bold on her part, but makes sense. She can blend in amid the chaos instead of finding a new way to enter the sect later. Jiang Hao admired her grit. From the feedback he got, it was evident that she was here for smiling Sansheng. Her goal was none other than to deal with the 100 Nights curse. I've finally found her. Now, I need to see how to deal with her. It was easy to suppress the curse temporarily, but doing it every 3 months was difficult. It was too complicated. It is equivalent to maintaining contact with an entire clan. He needed to consider how to proceed. Chapter 908, Demonis. You're becoming more like a sect master. The sect was recuperating, but the end of the recent battle did nothing to bring peace of mind to the disciples of the sect. On the contrary, they worried even more. Prices of goods soared for a while, and the cost of talismans doubled. Unfortunately, Jiang Hao had to patrol and couldn't craft talismans for sale. He felt like he lost a chance to earn spirit stones. Every time he passed by the market, he could only shake his head and sigh. The patrol tasks were precisely the reason there was no one like him selling talismans. The battle had been between the powerful cultivators, so the spirit herb gardens didn't suffer much damage. The powerful cultivators had no interest in the gardens because it didn't benefit them. It was a contest of strength among the elites. The fate of the sect was in the hands of a few. During the patrol, they encountered many people. They learned quite a lot from them. It was said that the masters of each branch were severely injured. Elder Bai's condition wasn't good either. If someone hadn't intervened midway, the conflict might not have ended so easily. Someone intervened? Jiang Hao was surprised to hear this. He couldn't understand who had helped the Heavenly Note sect. However, it was just a rumor, as no one was able to tell him who it was. Lu Xingchen was also busy and didn't come meet him. In one of his patrols, Jiang Hao saw 6 undercover agents. He captured 2 of them, and let Zhang Shurjiu capture the other 2. The rest were too powerful for them to deal with. It wasn't until early January that the patrol duties decreased, and everyone had some time to rest. When they sat down to rest, Zhang Shurjiu sighed. It seems that the law enforcement hall is busier than expected. They were doing tasks under the law enforcement hall, so they could feel how busy they were. However, it also had many benefits for their cultivation. During this time, their spirits were highly concentrated, and their power was constantly in operation. After patrolling for several months, everyone's strength had improved. They also gained a better understanding of how to handle things. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief and stood under a tree. During the patrol, they hadn't gained anything much. There were no mines or areas with spirit herbs. In the 5 months of patrol duties, apart from gaining more information on the matter, they didn't find any other benefits. Fortunately, the patrol mission was coming to an end, and he could go back to manage the spirit herb garden. After a moment, he looked at his interface. Name: Jiang Hao. Age: 40. Cultivation realm: middle stage of the Immortal Ascension platform. Cultivation method: Heavenly Sound 100 revolutions. Hong Meng Heart Sutra. Divine ability: 9 revolutions. Death substitution. Unique: daily appraisal. Clear and pure heart. Reappearance of hidden spirit. Divine might. Revival of withered tree. Heavenly cauldron. Indestructible Vajra. Cultivation: 27/100 can be cultivated. Lifeblood: 25/100 can be cultivated. Divine abilities: 2/3 cannot be obtained. 40 years old. Jiang Hao felt sentimental. He had aged so soon. There was still quite a long way to go to reach the late stage of the Immortal Ascension platform. It would be challenging for him to survive with even this cultivation realm. It would be better to become stronger as soon as possible. Now that the big battle is over, the Candlelight Pill Pavilion is probably eager to plant top-grade spirit herbs again. With sufficient spirit stones, he could cultivate a large quantity of top-grade spirit herbs. He had 180,000 spirit stones left. After killing the fallen Immortal Clan members, he had gotten a lot of spirit stones. He couldn't find some of their storage treasures, but the ones he did find had many spirit stones. It was almost impossible to have so many spirit stones. He obtained 260,000 spirit stones and numerous elixirs, but there were almost no magic treasures. For some reason, it seemed that the fallen Immortal Clan's members only had defensive treasures and not many offensive treasures. Perhaps they weren't that wealthy. He had 440,000 spirit stones. Was it normal for someone at the Immortal Ascension platform to have that many spirit stones? He had never met someone with that many spirit stones. Jiang Hao didn't think too much about it and took a break for a while. When the patrol missions were over, he planned to visit the Lawless Tower and ask about the Shangwan family. When a gathering happened next, he would inform Gui about who was targeting her, and then they could confront Gu Changxing together. He just needed to stall for time. He suddenly heard footsteps approaching. Others couldn't hear them. It meant a power cultivator was coming that way. At the Lawless Tower, there were 4 people. They were Zhuang Yuzhen, King Hai Luo, Nan Gongyu, and Mi Lingwe. Have you noticed it? The number of people visiting has decreased lately. It seems like they're too busy, Nan Gongyu said. Unfortunately, we can't find out what has happened, Mi Lingwe said. We should wait for someone to visit. Then, we can find out, King Hai Luo said. When do you plan to leave, Heavenly King? Mi Lingwe asked curiously. No one can force me to do anything here. Besides, everyone will do everything to protect me here, said Hai Luo. Why do you want to leave? I heard that the 12 Heavenly Kings are preparing to ascend to immortality. Aren't you planning to do that as well? Mi Lingwe asked. How can he ascend when he isn't even at the peak of the Immortal Ascension platform? Zhuang Yuzhen asked. You old bastard. You're one to talk. You're only at the early stage of the primordial spirit realm. King Hai Luo sneered. Zhuang Yuzhen chuckled. I already ascended. King Hai Luo snorted. Well, my cultivation realm is still higher than yours here. Even 10 of you can't defeat me. Haven't you figured it out yet? I'm different from all of you here. King Hai Luo has another name overseas. Do you know what it is? Mi Lingwe asked Zhuang Yuzhen. Zhuang Yuzhen said, Little bastard. The group started arguing again. Nan Gongyu sat in her cell, and felt that these people were all right. She had been here for so long that she didn't even think of escaping anymore. But she had to leave one day. Her fellow members were all achieving extraordinary things. She couldn't stay here indefinitely. She was waiting for someone to arrive. She hoped to exchange some secret information for freedom. At the 100 Flowers Lake, Hong Ye sat at the stone table and gently lifted the teapot to pour herself some tea. The tea was reddish. Spiritual energy flowed inside. At that moment, a white figure descended. "Sect Master," said Baiji respectfully. "Is it over?" Hong Ye put down the teapot. Baiji nodded. "It's all thanks to you, Sect Master." Hong Ye turned to look at the white figure outside the pavilion. "You're becoming more like a sect master." Baiji looked astonished. She knelt in respect. Hong Ye looked at her. "Don't overthink." Baiji nodded, but still felt uneasy. "Tell me about what we have gained this time," Hong Ye calmly said. "The sect suffered damage and needs a long time to recover. The mines were blasted open, and something inside was taken away. It's presumably the work of the Heavenly Gates sect," Baiji said. "The important members of the Heavenly Saints sect and the Great Thousand God sect tried to abduct Miao Tinglian and Mu Qi from the Cliff of Broken Hearts. However, they failed. They have been captured. We also captured a few members of the Great Thousand God sect, but a certain disciple carrying a lantern is unaccounted for. We are still investigating." Chapter 909, Demonis. What has he done? As the sky gradually darkened, Jiang Hao sat under a tree and closed his eyes to rest. He sensed someone approaching. The person's cultivation was extremely high and peculiar. It was there and not there at the same time. If it weren't for a trip to the west and his skills from the nameless manual, he wouldn't have been able to sense them. Footsteps approached from afar steadily. What surprised him was that the person didn't intend to leave. Usually, such a powerful person would have no reason to interact with them. Jiang Hao felt the person approaching him. At that moment, his power began to surge silently. "Junior, are you awake?" asked a voice. Jiang Hao opened his eyes. He saw a man with a blindfold holding a lantern as he looked to the side. It was the lantern-carrying disciple. Jiang Hao pretended to be surprised. He then got up. "Senior, is there something you need?" He noticed that everyone else had fallen asleep. The other person waved his hand, and everyone fell asleep. The lantern-carrying disciple stood still. Those who were with him were nowhere to be seen. "I have some questions for you, Junior," said the person. "Senior, please feel free to ask anything," Jiang Hao said. "Is it difficult to leave the sect?" asked the person. "It's difficult," Jiang Hao said. "Nowadays, every part of the sect is patrolled by disciples of the law enforcement hall. The situation outside is the same. It's even more strict. To leave, even with a teleportation treasure, is quite challenging." "Who is the strongest in the sect?" "That would be the sect master," Jiang Hao said. "Baiji?" "Yes. Elder Baiji is the acting sect master." "Aren't you afraid of me?" "Senior, why would I be? We are all fellow disciples." "Fellow disciples?" The lantern-carrying disciple looked at Jiang Hao. "Which way is it to leave the sect?" Jiang Hao pointed in a direction. "That way." The lantern-carrying disciple glanced in the direction he pointed. "So, that is the direction to leave the sect. But I'm not sure I can leave." Finally, he turned to Jiang Hao. "What's your name, Junior?" Jiang Hao immediately said, "Chiu Luo." Jiang Hao had seen that name before when he had appraised someone who targeted him before. Since he had not encountered them yet, he didn't know the details. But he used that name to be safe. The lantern-carrying disciple chuckled. "Take this as a gift." He handed Jiang Hao a small lantern. It looked somewhat similar to the one he held. Jiang Hao thanked him. "Thank you, Senior." "I'm leaving now," said the lantern-carrying disciple as he turned and looked in the direction Jiang Hao had pointed earlier. "I just don't know if I can get out." "Why are you in such a hurry, Senior?" Jiang Hao was quite curious. "It's something I have to face sooner or later." The lantern-carrying disciple looked in the distance. "I came with a purpose, and I will naturally bear the consequences when I leave. Even if the consequences are severe, what can I do? The wind starts from the end of the green duckweed. The waves form between the ripples. Even if hope is faint and the road ahead is dark, I must carry my lantern and move forward. With that, the lantern-carrying disciple tightened his grip on the lantern and walked away. At that moment, the abyss faintly appeared beneath him, and a pitch-black path extended in front of him. The lantern-carrying disciple walked in the darkness, carried a lantern, and was ready to be swallowed by the darkness at any moment. Perhaps we will never meet again, but I know you are different from others. I like you. The lantern-carrying disciple disappeared. His voice was clear in Jiang Hao's ears. If possible, I will give you a gift. You are my favorite person I've encountered in many years. Jiang Hao watched him leave. He shook his head and sighed. The lantern-carrying disciple was a good person, but unfortunately, it was difficult to escape from the Heavenly Note sect. Sure enough, not long after, a great fight raged. It was quickly suppressed. Whether the lantern-carrying disciple died or was captured, Jiang Hao didn't know. In any case, he had no more connection with him. After that, Jiang Hao did not encounter any more powerful individuals. But he dared not be careless. At the 100 Flowers Lake, Baiji knelt on the ground and reported her findings. At the same time, she mentioned the gains and losses. The losses were immense, but they had gained information about Fenghua. At the same time, they found out more about the person from Azure Mountain. Perhaps they could learn more. They could find out why the Heavenly Note sect was targeted. Is there news from Fenghua? Asked Hong Yuya. Yes. Baiji nodded. He has many avatars. It is said that an important avatar is in the Sunset Immortal sect. The identity is still unknown, but we have found traces of her main body. Recently, she seems to be urgently searching for a kind of medicine. This urgency may reveal something, not ruling out intentionally exposing himself. But it is also the closest time to her main body. Perhaps there will be news sometime later. Hong Yuya nodded. Baiji suddenly froze, and then a commotion outside caught her attention. Baiji immediately said, "The lantern-carrying disciple has been captured, but speak." Hong Yuya sipped her tea calmly. According to the information, the lantern-carrying disciple said that he came here because there was already a trap in place. He wants to know who did it, she said. That's what he said anyway. Who is he referring to? Hong Yuya asked. Baiji lowered her head. The disciples from the law enforcement hall went to investigate. They found out it was Jiang Hao. Jiang Hao did confirm meeting the lantern-bearing person. What do you think? Hong Yuya asked with interest. It should be a coincidence, but there is some suspicion. The disciples from the law enforcement hall will likely ask, but regardless, capturing the lantern-carrying disciple was because of him. Among the people of the Great Thousand God sect, the lantern-carrying disciple is the most powerful, so that would be a grand achievement, Baiji said helplessly. Jiang Hao seems to deliberately make contributions and intentionally establish relationships with these people every time. It makes others suspicious, but it's just that. Someone behind him is likely controlling him. Baiji sneakily raised her head and glanced at the sect master. Sect master, how do you think it should be handled? Hong Yuya sipped her tea. That is up to you. Baiji nodded. Any discoveries on Jiang Hao's side? Hong Yuya asked as she put down her teacup. Chapter 9-10. Demoness. Why do you think he doesn't leave the sect? What about the discoveries on Jiang Hao's side? Baiji thought about it. Apart from advancing to the late stage of the Golden Core realm, there is currently nothing unusual. Although some aspects are outstanding, everything is within expectations. Besides, we also investigated the people accusing him, but unfortunately, they were all baseless. Jiang Hao seems highly suspicious, but he is actually very clean. The reason he has connections with various undercover agents might be intentional. He wants to stay on the list of the law enforcement hall, so he won't be easily sent out of the sect. Why do you think he doesn't want to go out of the sect? Hong Yuya looked at Baiji. There is a possibility that he wants to stay in the sect to accomplish certain tasks. He must have his own purpose. Even if he doesn't, the person behind him surely does. Every time, he manages to stay in the sect. It means someone behind him helps him, said Baiji. Do you think it's because he is afraid to go outside? Hong Yuya asked. It's unlikely. Baiji thought for a moment. Take the lantern-carrying disciple as an example. Since even the lantern-carrying disciple can be manipulated, it's evident that the person behind him is powerful. Considering the people Jiang Hao has offended, there are probably few who can pose a danger to him. So, they must have some purpose in mind. What do you think the purpose is? Hong Yu asked. There's a high possibility that it is related to the heavenly fragrance Dao flower, Baiji said. Hong Yu nodded and said, continue the investigation. Yes. Baiji pondered for a moment and added, Jiang Hao has a pet. It is quite extraordinary. Its origin might also be questionable. Do you want to investigate? Is it suspicious? Hong Yu asked. A bit. Then investigate, Hong Yu said calmly. Baiji nodded. In addition, it seems like smiling San Sheng has appeared in the sect. Originally, there were some anomalies in Devil's Den, but after smiling San Sheng entered, the anomalies disappeared. So far, his whereabouts are unknown. Perhaps he is still inside the sect. That is something you need to be concerned about. Hong Yu sipped her tea. The great Thousand God sect and the Heavenly Saints sect came for the Holy Master's divine soul. But so far, we don't know where the soul is. It has no use for us, so we haven't investigated it, Baiji said. Hong Yu nodded. Baiji sighed with relief. They had a shortage of manpower for a thorough investigation. Fortunately, the sect master also didn't care about this. After that, she reported on other situations, including numerous discoveries in the mines. When a report was over, she mentioned the progress of the heavenly fragrance Dao flower. Since the flower's growth was great, Baiji received another transparent box. There was a pair of pants inside. The moment she received it, she knew who it was for. It was clear that the sect master also wanted a win over Jiang Hao. Jiang Hao was indeed outstanding, whether in cultivation progress, personal conduct, or his ability for interrogation in the Lawless Tower. Almost no faults could be found. Such a person being valued by someone powerful was only natural. The sect master's efforts to win him over were justified. She also didn't want him to leave. Judging by his behavior, he could guard the spirit herb garden pretty well. If he betrayed the sect, it would be quite troublesome. After Baiji left, Hong Yu sat in the pavilion drinking tea. She was looking into the distance and was deep in thought. Around early February, Jiang Hao handed over his patrol mission report to the law enforcement hall. The patrol mission was over. He sighed wearily. Finally, it was completed, and there wouldn't be such tasks for the next few years. He could peacefully improve his cultivation. In a few more years, he would be able to advance to the late stage of the Immortal Ascension platform. With the help of high-quality spirit herbs, he might be able to do just that. After leaving the law enforcement hall, Jiang Hao looked at Zheng Shizhou and others. That's it. It's over. Zheng Shizhou thanked him. Junior brother Jiang, you've worked very hard. Thank you, senior brother Jiang, said Lin Mo, Lin Ji, and Zhao Qinxue gratefully. Without Jiang Hao, Zheng Shizhou would not have broken through to the middle stage of the Golden Core realm, let alone refine his cultivation. Lin Mo and others were even more grateful. Without Jiang Hao, they might have been dead. Lin Mo knew some people who didn't like Jiang Hao, but after meeting him, he was sure that those people were wrong about him. Regardless of whether senior brother Jiang cultivated the Blood Wish path or not, he is far from ordinary. His abilities, strength, and personality were beyond the reach of ordinary people. Jiang Hao returned the courtesy. Thank you all, and farewell. Jiang Hao then left on his flying sword. Zheng Shizhou also departed. Back then, they had recruited Lin Ji and the others into the sect. This time, they had gone on a mission together. Perhaps this was the end of it. They might never meet again. They could only hope that they would do better and grow further. Zheng Shizhou learned a lot from Jiang Hao. He was indifferent to many things and would not get triggered so easily anymore. Having one less enemy was good survival. At the Cliff of Broken Hearts, Jiang Hao returned to find that the place was being rebuilt. The Cliff of Broken Hearts had taken most of the brunt of the battle and lost a lot. Jiang Hao sighed and returned to his courtyard. As soon as he stepped in, he frowned. Someone is here. Hong Ye had given him the formation, and he had set it up. Only the spirit beast and Shaoli were free to enter it. Others couldn't get in. Hong Ye could enter too, since the formation was hers. There had been no other aura in the formation until Jiang Hao activated the formation and tried to condense the aura. Soon, a black shadow appeared in the courtyard. The shadow stood in front of the heavenly fragrance Dao flower. It didn't approach or touch it. It just looked at it like that. The shadow disappeared after a short time. That aura, Jiang Hao felt that the shadow was similar to the lantern-carrying disciple from before. He came here so openly. He knew he was being watched by Elder Bai's people. He wondered if they saw the person observing the flower in his courtyard. So he found me not to talk about things, but he knew I had the heavenly fragrance Dao flower. He was sure that the aura in his courtyard belonged to that person. Fortunately, he didn't make a move. He didn't even touch the heavenly fragrance Dao flower. If he had made a move, the commotion would have been huge. But making a move on the heavenly fragrance Dao flower, Hong Ye would have intervened even before the person could reach the flower. Jiang Hao cleared the remnants of the aura. Right then, Lu Xingchen arrived. This time, he brought 2 people with him. Jiang Hao was puzzled. He didn't think he had done anything. Junior brother Jiang, you are indeed outstanding, Lu Xingchen said in admiration. I heard that the sect has been trying to find a powerful individual all this time, and you managed to find them. That's quite an achievement. Jiang Hao was speechless. Chapter 9:11. Repaying favor with backstabbing. Jiang Hao was confused. He didn't know what he had achieved this time. He had taken care not to do anything big during this mission. He had only performed the duties assigned to him and nothing else. How could he have achieved something big? Seeing Jiang Hao bewildered, Lu Xingchen smiled. Junior brother Jiang, did you meet a lantern-carrying person on your mission? Lantern-carrying person? Jiang Hao asked. Yes. Lu Xingchen nodded. Do you know that he was captured? Yes. Jiang Hao nodded. He had met him while patrolling. He said you led him to the trap that led to his capture. His capture is credited to you, said Lu Xingchen. Jiang Hao was at a loss for words. He was perplexed. The direction he had pointed at shouldn't have led him to a trap. How did the lantern-carrying disciple end up there, with the traps both inside and outside the sect? He remembered the lantern-carrying disciple mentioning that he would leave him a gift. Was this the gift? Jiang Hao sighed. He had genuinely tried to guide the lantern-carrying disciple to the exit. Why would he stab him in the back in exchange? High merits were not necessarily a good thing. He could easily be taken off the suspect list because of this. Is it possible that he walked into the trap by himself and said it was because of me just to save some embarrassment? Jiang Hao asked. We haven't considered that possibility, Lu Xingchen said in surprise. Regardless, credit must be given where it's due. It is indeed strange for such a powerful individual to mention you. So, you need to come with us and answer some questions. If there are no issues, you'll gain the merits. Otherwise, it might create some trouble for you. Jiang Hao was puzzled. What trouble would it all lead to? You'll either receive merits with suspicion, or your movements will be restricted. Of course, you'd be free to move about in the sect, said Lu Xingchen. Jiang Hao understood. It was better to accept the merits with some suspicion than to be subjected to a deeper investigation. Shall we go then? Lu Xingchen asked. Upon reaching the law enforcement hall, Jiang Hao faced 2 middle-aged men. One was in the late stage of the Soul Ascension realm, and the other was at the peak of the Soul Ascension realm. They were powerful cultivators. It was rare to see return to Void Realm cultivators for such a task. Besides, the sect didn't have manpower to spare. The presence of Soul Ascension realm cultivators was huge. Just some minor questions, junior brother, said the middle-aged man with a smile, and sat down. It's about the lantern-carrying disciple. How many times have you met him? Jiang Hao didn't hide anything. He recounted everything truthfully. He mentioned the first time he had seen the lantern-carrying man and had reported it to a senior. The others had been asleep when he met the same person a second time. After questioning for a while, the 2 men drank some tea. All right, junior brother, you can leave now. There are no issues for now, but we might call you again to ask more about the situation. We hope you won't leave the sect without reason. Of course, if the task hall guarantees your journey, you do not have to worry. Jiang Hao was speechless. He wondered if this person was sent by the task hall to speak for him. Can I leave now? Jiang Hao asked. Of course. Junior brother Jiang, we're sorry for the inconvenience of having to call you here multiple times. You're free to leave. However, you can always visit for some tea, said the middle-aged man and smiled. Jiang Hao was about to leave when a young man said, Wait, junior brother Jiang, is there anything else? Jiang Hao turned around. He had already handed them the spirit stones from his last failure. There shouldn't be any problem. After exchanging a few polite words, Jiang Hao left. He didn't see Lu Xingchen this time. He probably was too busy. Sighing, Jiang Hao walked back. He had been fooled by the lantern-carrying disciple. On the bright side, he had someone who wanted him to plant high-quality spirit herbs. He was unsure what effect this would have on the suspect list. As his cultivation progressed, the list might no longer accommodate him. By the time he arrived at the spirit herb garden, it was already late in the afternoon. Everyone was busy, and he didn't want to disturb them. He decided to calm himself first and then contact Shangguan Qingsu. Along the way, he also needed to make a trip to the Lawless Tower to meet King Hai Luo and find out more about the Shangguan family. However, before he could rest, a message arrived. It instructed him to head to the Lawless Tower as soon as possible. In the southern region, Su Bai moved through the air at an incredible speed. After nearly 2 years, he had finally approached the Black Heaven sect. This journey had not been easy. Along the way, he saw people fighting below. It was one person against a group, and he seemed to be losing. That person is somewhat strange, Su Bai observed closely. The young man was clearly heavily injured, yet his strong will kept him fighting. He was good with a blade, and his technique was decent. After descending the mountain, all my actions have been driven by my own conscience. Regardless of right or wrong, you have no right to judge me. I am worthy of heaven and earth. Since you want to kill me, I will kill all of you in return. There was a roar and a burst of formidable power. The blade swept across. Even in death, he refused to go down without a fight. Boom! The power erupted. Eventually, everyone fell to the ground. Su Bai was astonished. That person's talent is decent. He doesn't seem ordinary. His blade skills are just okay, but his state of mind is strong. He looks familiar. Chapter 9:12. Old Man Corpse, heading to the Heavenly Notes sect. Su Bai descended and looked at the young man lying in the pool of blood. He waved his hand, and the young man began to heal. His breath became steady. The blood vanished from his face. Chu Chuan, Su Bai recognized him. He was connected to Chu Jia, after all. He had left quite an impression on him, too. The young man's lips moved. Lord Beast. Lord Beast. Lord Beast. Su Bai was confused. He isn't simple at all. Martial uncle was mistaken back then. Su Bai waved his hands again, and spiritual energy entered Chu Chuan's body and healed him. I can't help him too much. Just enough. Su Bai smiled and looked around. He cleared some demonic beasts nearby and stepped back. He was heading to the Black Heaven sect on a mission. His mission wasn't easy, and it would take a lot of time. I might not even return this way. Su Bai sighed and shook his head. He was out of the sect, so he wasn't in a hurry to return soon. He needed to prepare properly. Before he headed overseas, he was planning to stay in the south and examine certain matters. He also needed to wait for someone. That person should be arriving soon. He would be coming from the west. After Su Bai left, Chu Chuan woke up. He looked around in disbelief. His injuries had miraculously healed. Lord Beast. Lord Beast must have helped me. Chu Chuan was confident that the spirit beast had helped him. Before he lost consciousness, he remembered shouting for Lord Beast. Lord Beast's friends on the path must have helped him. With Lord Beast around, I can definitely overcome any danger. Chu Chuan felt hopeful. After collecting everyone's storage treasures, he continued forward. He needed to find a safe place to recover from his injuries. Someday he would reach the east. At the Heavenly Gate sect, some corpses stood around. An oldish man stood at the forefront. The Heavenly Gate sect is strong. It was Old Man Corpse C. When he arrived, he was quite polite. But the people of the Heavenly Gate sect hadn't taken him seriously. So, he opened the Corpse C and summoned some corpses. The battle erupted quickly and ended even faster. There was no apparent victory or defeat. It was just a misunderstanding. Since it was just a misunderstanding, Old Man of the Corpse Sea had no intention of dragging it out. In front of him was a middle-aged man. He was refined and polite. "Fellow disciple, where did you come from?" Zhong Ziyuan asked. He didn't expect someone strange to appear from the southern region suddenly. Moreover, this person was targeting their sect. The sect wasn't afraid, but they also didn't want unnecessary conflicts. They wanted to first find out who this person was. "The West," Old Man Corpse Sea said. "What brings you here?" Zhong Ziyuan asked again. "I just want to ask some questions." "Please go on. Are there any special places in the southern region?" "Special in what way?" "If you, as a major sect, cannot understand it, then it might be special." "Any such places like that?" "There are quite a few." "Can you name the most bizarre, unique, and intriguing place you can think of?" "The Heavenly Notes sect in the south." Old Man Corpse Sea looked at the man and smiled. "The Heavenly Notes sect?" "Yes, the Heavenly Notes sect." Zhong Ziyuan nodded. "I've never heard of it. What kind of sect is it?" Old Man Corpse Sea found it strange. He felt like the person before him was playing him. "We hadn't heard of it before either. 100 years ago, the sect suddenly emerged from nowhere and began to rise. Before that, it was an ordinary sect that went unnoticed. However, in just a few decades, they have risen to become one of the top sections. Is that what makes them special?" Old Man Corpse Sea chuckled. "What's so special about them?" "Rumors say there are traces of great fortune, appearances of divine objects, manifestations of ominous creatures, and a myriad of secrets hidden in their minds. Not only that, but they also have an extremely mysterious tower that defies common sense. In addition, they can enter the corpse realm and capture formidable enemies from various regions. Of course, there are also opportunities. A sage opened the path to immortality there. It was very rare and unheard of, a rarity in ancient and modern times," Zhong Ziyuan said. "Yet, no one has brought them down?" Old Man Corpse Sea asked. "Before, no one knew about them. When they were discovered, they had already become a force to be reckoned with. It is dangerous to take action against them. Every sect has its own concerns. It's unlikely they will risk everything just to deal with an unknown sect," Zhong Ziyuan said. "As a major sect, don't you want to take the risk?" Old Man Corpse Sea asked. Zhong Ziyuan did not respond. Old Man Corpse Sea understood. They must have tried but failed. After asking for the location of the Heavenly Notes sect, he headed in that direction. Since it was special, he decided to see just how special this sect really was. Jiang Hao arrived at the Lawless Tower. It was already dark. Although the message didn't specify when they needed him to be there, he didn't want to delay. He had planned to visit the tower anyway. His punctuality would also leave a good impression on the seniors in the tower. He met senior sister Insha as soon as he arrived. "Junior brother Jiang, you came early," said Insha. She hadn't expected him to visit so early. Disciples in the sect were usually very busy with tasks or cultivation matters. So, they didn't expect Jiang Hao to come immediately. A delay of a month or two was acceptable. "I just happen to have some free time," Jiang Hao said politely. "Let's talk while walking," Insha said. Jiang Hao nodded and followed along. "I wanted you to help inquire about the Fallen Immortal Clan, but the plans have changed. We don't want to deal with the members of the Fallen Immortal Clan right now, so we're keeping them in isolation. We're hoping that a cold shoulder treatment will soften them a little," said Insha with a smile. "This time, we called you mainly for the others we captured. It's quite important, especially since they are from the Great Thousand God sect. We need your help to make them speak. There will be others from the Heavenly Saints sect later, and they are quite stubborn." Jiang Hao wasn't surprised. It seemed that the sect was targeting the Great Thousand God sect and the Heavenly Saints sect. The losses of the mines were not small. The area was abandoned because the sect was short of manpower for defense. "There are 3 individuals, and I have no choice but to trouble you." When they reached the 5th floor, Insha didn't enter it with him. Instead, she handed him a book. "These are their basic profiles. All members of the Great Thousand God sect are listed here. We don't know much about them, except that they were here for the divine soul of the Holy Master. In any case, I leave it to you, junior brother. Information about the divine soul of the Holy Master is also in the book. Jiang Hao took the book. Thank you. I'll do my best. Indeed, he was doing his best. Not everyone could uncover secrets like him. Moreover, with 3 individuals, he would need at least 3 days to find out all about them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 9:13. Heavenly King Hai Luo, what grade is he? On the 5th floor of the Lawless Tower, Jiang Hao knew all the people inside. He was quite familiar with the place. Occasionally, there would be some new people he did not know. But most of these people had communicated in one way or another with him. However, some people had never talked with him. They usually left after a while. Not everyone needed his expertise. It wasn't like Lawless Tower was useless. The people of the Lawless Tower were very efficient. No one was as busy as them in the sect, except for the law enforcement hall. They were either arresting or interrogating people, or on the way to do just that. When he entered, he heard someone talk. It was King Hai Luo. I'm a heavenly king, so I can do whatever I want. What can you do to me? No one could control me overseas. It's the same here. Jiang Hao felt that King Hai Luo was very tough indeed until he met Miao Anxian. He seemed to soften up whenever he thought about her. If it concerned her, Hai Luo would compromise. How good is that woman? Jiang Hao couldn't understand. As a heavenly king, he was already half a step into the realm of immortals. Why was he swayed by love so much? In his realm, he might have reached a very firm state of mind. Why did he care about one person so much? Besides, Miao Anxian had betrayed him once before. I still don't understand. Perhaps I will never understand, Jiang Hao sighed. He did not understand, nor did he want to understand. When he walked in, he saw Heavenly King Mu Longyu standing in front of King Hai Luo's cell. He was trying to talk some sense into him. Nan Gongyu in the 3rd cell had disappeared. She was replaced by Mi Lingwe. The 4th cell had a white-haired woman. She looked quiet and destitute, as though there was no hope left in her life. The 5th cell had a middle-aged man who glared at everyone around. The 6th cell, Jiang Hao looked at him in surprise. It was the blindfolded man carrying a lantern. He sat in his cell and appeared oblivious to his surroundings. He might have been blindfolded before, but he seemed to be really blind. It was hard to sense anything inside the Lawless Tower. Jiang Hao sighed again. So far, the law enforcement hall had not responded to the matter of his achievements. He wondered if he would be taken off the suspect list. Nan Gongyu was missing. He often saw the same 4 people whenever he visited the 5th floor. He was surprised by her absence. After greeting Heavenly King Mu Longyu politely, he asked about Nan Gongyu. She traded some secret with the people of the Lawless Tower to get out, said Mi Lingwe. A secret? Jiang Hao was surprised. The Saint Bandits were becoming more active lately. It was natural for her to want to get out. As for the secret that she had traded, Jiang Hao was unsure of it. He wasn't worried about her leaving, but he hoped they wouldn't be enemies if they met in the future. Zhuang Yuzhen, Heavenly King Hai Luo, Nan Gongyu, and Mi Lingwe didn't feel any hostility toward him. There was no hatred or resentment in their eyes. Then, he turned his gaze to the other 3. All 3 of them were from the Great Thousand God sect. He looked at the books. The first one was called Bing Qing from the Eye Spirit clan. She was cold-blooded. The second one was called Mangu. He was one of the top 3,000 members of the Great Thousand God sect. He was arrogant and fearless. The 3rd lantern-carrying man was the most mysterious of them all. He might not be the strongest, but he was the most difficult to deal with. Ordinary interrogation was useless to him. He didn't care about his cultivation or his life. Jiang Hao flipped through the pages and then closed the book. Fellow disciple, are you here for them? Mu Longyu walked to Jiang Hao's side. Jiang Hao nodded. I'm sorry if I have interrupted anything, he said apologetically. If he hadn't come in, Mu Longyu would still be talking with Hai Luo. After he appeared, Hai Luo simply shut up. Jiang Hao's arrival made Zhuang Yuzhen and the others look forward to what he would do with the 3 new people. Junior brother Jiang? The lantern-carrying disciple got up. The others looked over in surprise. He hadn't said a word since he arrived until he saw Jiang Hao. Moreover, he greeted Jiang Hao first. Mi Lingwei and the others looked at Jiang Hao. They didn't know what was going on. After all, the lantern-carrying disciple's strength was not very high, but his appearance attracted the attention of people overseas. This was especially true for people from the Great Thousand God sect. Many people wanted to know what had happened to the lantern-bearer. "We meet again, Senior," Jiang Hao said politely. If the lantern-bearer was willing to call him a junior, he had no trouble addressing him as a senior. The people from the Lawless Tower wouldn't care, and the sect didn't care either. The lantern-bearer, knowing Jiang Hao's name, wasn't a great mystery either. The law enforcement hall might have mentioned it when they questioned him. "This place isn't ordinary. It's a little unexpected you could enter this place, junior brother. It's too dark, so I couldn't see you properly. I hope you don't mind." "Senior, you must be joking. It's my fault. I should have greeted you immediately," said Jiang Hao. "Junior brother, are you here to interrogate me? I have been assigned with that task," he said. "You? A cultivator at the Golden Core realm?" Mangu laughed. "You're nothing. Even lapdogs are more valuable than you. Just kill us, useless Golden Core. How dare your sect imprison us like this?" Mangu turned to look at me Lingwei. "And you? So, you were hiding here. I wondered why Heavenly King Mu Longyu was here." "So, you two have planned this together." Mu Longyu turned to look at Mangu. Mangu glared back. "What's wrong? Want to silence me? Have the Heavenly Notes sect do your dirty work like a coward, then?" "Heavenly King Hai Luo, he dares to be more arrogant than you," said Mi Lingwei. "Bah, what realm is he? Can he even compare to me?" King Hai Luo turned to Mangu. "You're just a middle-stage primordial spirit realm cultivator." "That's right. Heavenly King Hai Luo is at the peak of the primordial spirit realm. He is the king of the 5th floor," said Mi Lingwei. "You're just playing his pawn," said Zhuang Yuzhen. "You both are trash." Hai Luo laughed. Mu Longyu was puzzled. Mi Lingwei smiled. "Don't worry, just watch. I have never seen anyone as arrogant as Hai Luo on the 5th floor. No one is better than King Hai Luo." Mu Longyu didn't really understand what they were trying to do. He knew that Jiang Hao's status on the 5th floor was very high. It was even higher than the others in the Lawless Tower. The people here, whether guards or captives, respected Jiang Hao the most. No one dared to act recklessly against him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 9:14. Unparalleled appearance. Jiang Hao felt that he often met people who looked down on him on this floor. When he was in the Foundation establishment realm, Zhuang Yuzhen and Hai Luo had looked down on him. Mi Lingwei wasn't that arrogant, so she talked with him decently. Later, when he reached the Golden Core realm, Zhuang Yuzhen and the others began to respect him. However, the new people who came here still looked down on him. He didn't care. After all, a Golden Core realm cultivator was nothing in front of them. Even if their cultivation realm fell, they were still in the primordial spirit realm. What was the Golden Core realm in front of the primordial spirit realm? They all had their pride. It was only natural that they felt dissatisfied with being interrogated by a Golden Core realm cultivator. Mangu looked at Jiang Hao. "How do you plan to interrogate me? Torture? What else can you do? Are you going to deliberately let us out just to hunt us down? Don't worry. I'll kill myself the moment I get out of here." Jiang Hao sighed with emotion. This person was completely fearless. This kind of person was the most troublesome to deal with. "Senior, are you here for the divine soul of the Holy Master?" Jiang Hao asked. "Do you really think he'll answer you?" Mangu glared at Jiang Hao. Jiang Hao sighed. Then he activated his daily appraisal ability. Mangu, originally known as Disciple Feng Qing. He was a disciple of the Divine Rotation sect in the West. He betrayed his sect and fled. From then on, he called himself Mangu and worked wholeheartedly for Feng Hua. However, Feng Hua was ruthless. She found out that he had a wife and children in the Divine Rotation sect and used that to blackmail him. However, he still had a line of defense to protect his wife and children. Only by obtaining the 9 rain tea leaves of the divine rotation sect would he truly understand that his wife and children had been discovered. Right now, he doesn't want to betray Feng Hua, and he wants to die. He feels that with his death, everything will be resolved. Furthermore, he has already discovered some secrets of the great Thousand God sect, so he is already doomed. If those people can't find him, they'll turn their attention to his wife and children. Jiang Hao frowned. Divine rotation sect. Isn't Guan Zhongfei from there? Is the 9 rain tea leaves very difficult to obtain? He was quite surprised that this person was working for Feng Hua. He had to get more information from him. He didn't want to rush. So, he let it be for now. I won't disturb you anymore, senior, said Jiang Hao. He walked to Bing Qing. She looked at Jiang Hao with eyes filled with despair. Jiang Hao didn't say anything. He walked up to the lantern bearer. What do you want to ask me, junior brother Jiang? Senior, are you here for the Holy Master's divine soul? Jiang Hao asked. That's right. Everyone is here for the Holy Master's divine soul. However, I'm not too sure what use the divine soul has. Of course, we all have our own goals. Many people in the great Thousand God sect are actually very reserved. He looked around. They all have a certain power. Do you also have that, senior? Jiang Hao was curious. I do too. Jiang Hao didn't ask any more questions. The Lawless Tower didn't tell him to ask about Feng Hua anyway. This person didn't know where the divine soul was. It would be rude to keep pressing him. Jiang Hao decided to wait and see how the Lawless Tower wanted him to proceed. After that, he turned to leave. You're leaving just like that? Mangu sneered and looked at Mi Lingwei and the others. Who was the one who said this was going to be good? Mi Lingwei rolled her eyes. Just you wait. You'll eat your words soon. At least I can still laugh about it for a few days. What about you? Mangu sneered. What do you think will happen once your secret is exposed? You don't have to worry about that, said Mulongyu coldly. That's true. You're the heavenly king, and you're not afraid of the great Thousand God sect. But what about your wife? Mangu sat back down. I want to go out, Bing Qing said softly. However, no one could help her get out. After leaving the Lawless Tower, Jiang Hao returned to his house. If he wanted to make Mangu speak, he would have to find out more about the 9 rain tea leaves. The tea leaves were in the west. If he wanted to get it, he would have to go there himself or ask Zhang for help. I need to wait for the gathering to meet Zhang. I don't know how long he'll have to wait. They met once every 3 months, but sometimes they went without a gathering for over half a year. In short, it was unpredictable. It was hard to say how long it would take for the next gathering to happen. I can't wait that long. Jiang Hao shook his head and sighed. After that, he wanted to take a rest. He still needed to raise his cultivation as soon as possible. Early the next morning, it was a little chilly. February wasn't very cold, but it began to turn a bit chilly. After watering the heavenly fragrance Dao flower, he planned to head to the spirit her garden. However, a small head peered in from the courtyard. Senior brother Jiang? Come in, Jiang Hao said. It was Shaoli. She hopped into the courtyard and gave him a peach. Jiang Hao frowned. The season for peaches had passed. How were the peaches still on the tree? It was from before. I gave it to senior sister, but she told me to save one for you, said Shaoli. Jiang Hao frowned. He knew who Shaoli was talking about. He took a bite and frowned. It tasted bad. Had it gone bad? Is it sweet? Shaoli looked at him. Why do you think it's sweet? Jiang Hao asked. If it's not sweet, senior sister wouldn't have told me to save it for you, said Shaoli sheepishly. Jiang Hao finished eating the peach. He wanted to give it back to Shaoli, but he didn't want her to wonder why the peach tasted bad. All right. Senior sister also said that this isn't very bright anymore. Shaoli handed the dragon pearl to Jiang Hao. Senior sister told me to give it to you so you can think of a way. Jiang Hao took the dragon pearl. It didn't have much power left. But what could he do? He could only try to find out more about the dragon clan's power and then replenish the dragon pearl. After that, he took the spirit beast along to the spiritual her garden. In the afternoon, a light soared into the sky. The mountains and rivers shook, and spiritual energy gathered. The sudden change shocked many people. Jiang Hao also turned to look. The moment he sensed the sword's intent, he smiled. Junior brother Han is truly impressive. With such sword intent and power, he might be able to enter the late stage of the Golden Core realm very soon. If he was correct, the sword's intent came from Han Ming. Jiang Hao remembered that Han Ming owed him 1,000 spirit stones. It seemed like he was going to return it soon. He did not know if he should go and visit him or wait for Han Ming to come and challenge him. At that moment, the seniors quickly headed in the direction of the light to figure out what was happening. The next day, Han Ming became famous in the Heavenly Note sect. He was unparalleled in fame and power. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 9:15. Key figure for rapid cultivation. Han Ming experienced a significant increase in strength, and his sword's intent pierced through mountains and rivers. He was a type of genius that the Cliff of Broken Hearts had not encountered for many years. Everyone was surprised. In the Cliff of Broken Hearts branch, Han Ming's cultivation realm was not at the top, but his talent far surpassed many. He was invincible among his peers of the same level. His sword's intent had become stronger. He was a promising sword cultivator. However, Ku Wuchang felt somewhat helpless because he didn't have much knowledge about swords and couldn't provide the best guidance to Han Ming. On the second day of Han Ming's fame, Jiang Hao received news that the master had gone out and Senior Brother Bai Yi would be managing the branch temporarily. Senior Brother Bai Yi again? Jiang Hao recalled the evaluations of the Senior Brother by the Law Enforcement Hall and couldn't help but feel a bit helpless. Perhaps before long, Senior Brother Bai Yi would be taken to the Law Enforcement Hall again. But no one knew what the Cliff Master was up to. It might be related to Junior Brother Han. 2 more days passed. Most disciples of the Cliff of Broken Hearts were talking about Han Ming. Even Xiao Li had heard about it. Occasionally, she would ask if Senior Brother Han had become powerful and if she should send him gifts. Jiang Hao shook his head. Xiao Li knew Han Ming. They were both true disciples. One day, while Jiang Hao was tending to the spirit herb garden, Junior Brother Han suddenly appeared. Jiang Hao was curious whether he had come to challenge or repay a debt. If it was a challenge, it would be a bit troublesome. It might be problematic to defeat him when he was this famous. If the news spread that someone had defeated him, the attention would turn to him. So, if Junior Brother Han wanted to challenge him today, Jiang Hao would be in a dilemma. As Junior Brother Han approached, he looked a little smug, as if the promising future made him more confident. Junior Brother Han, you are truly extraordinary. I heard that you are destined to become a top disciple in the future. You have so much potential, said Jiang Hao with a smile. Senior Brother Jiang, you have been staying in the Spirit Herb Garden without much practice. In the future, I will catch up to you. Even if you occasionally go out, it won't be enough. The gap between us will become smaller, and in the end, you will be defeated, Han Ming said seriously. It's inevitable for you to surpass me someday. Whether I go out or not won't change that fact, Jiang Hao said softly. Han Ming didn't say much and took out the spirit stones. These are 2,000 spirit stones, with an extra 1,000 as interest. Jiang Hao accepted them. Thank you, Junior Brother Han. Han Ming nodded and turned to leave. Senior Brother Han. Xiao Li ran over to him. I heard you've become powerful. Yeah. Han Ming nodded. Congratulations, Senior Brother Han. Did you bring me a gift? Xiao Li asked. Han Ming stared at Xiao Li. He took out a spirit fruit from his storage treasure. Here. Thank you, Senior Brother Han, Xiao Li said excitedly. Cultivate well, said Han Ming and left. Xiao Li thanked him. Jiang Hao smiled. It seemed that Han Ming was not that rich, but he knew how Xiao Li was. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought her a gift. After that, Jiang Hao continued his work. Fortunately, Junior Brother Han did not challenge him. He was relieved. Otherwise, he would have to find a way to prolong the match to make it seem evenly matched. The next they fought would be when Junior Brother Han reached the late stage of the Golden Core Realm. That time, he would pretend to reach the peak of the Golden Core Realm. I just saw the surging aura of Junior Brother Han. It shouldn't be long before he reaches the late stage. But if I directly reach the peak, wouldn't that be strange? He always went out before advancing. But if Han Ming challenged him, he would have to pretend to advance without going out. He might appear suspicious. I can only rely on the illusion of the blood wish path. Perhaps he could frequently explain the cultivation process to Chung Cho and appear as knowledgeable and famous as senior brother Qinshin. That way, people would think it was the effect brought by blood wish path. Jiang Hao continued to tend to the spirit herb garden. The sect became lively again. He didn't mind. As long as he maintained his peace, everything would be okay. Around mid-February, Jiang Hao welcomed a senior sister from the Candlelight Pill Pavilion. She was at the peak of the primordial spirit realm and had short hair. "Can you really cultivate high-quality spirit herbs, junior brother?" she asked. "Please don't misunderstand. I'm not questioning your ability. I'm just curious. I don't pay much attention to sect matters, so I'm not aware of your capabilities." "I'm okay at it," Jiang Hao said modestly. The senior had a gentle voice. "Just okay at it?" She nodded. "That's fine. By the way, I'm Duan Muyin. Is your name Jiang Hao, junior brother?" "Yes," Jiang Hao said politely. "I have many high-quality spirit herb seeds, but they are important to me. Because it's our first collaboration, I hope you understand them a bit doubtful. He'll start by giving you 200 seeds in the beginning." "I hope you don't mind," Duan Muyin said. Jiang Hao was surprised. This senior was quite straightforward. Was such a person safe in a demonic sect? She was already at the peak of the primordial spirit realm, just a few paces away from the return to void realm. "I need to examine the seeds first," Jiang Hao said. "There are some seeds that I'm not good at raising." Duan Muyin agreed. After the appraisal, Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. The seeds normally took 9 months to germinate. He could make them sprout in as little as 4 months, but it required a significant amount of concealment. He planned to take half a year to let the seeds germinate. With no tasks at hand, he didn't have to worry too much. Duan Muyin followed the normal procedure and handed the seeds to him. She also provided enough spirit stones for cultivation. She gave Jiang Hao an additional 50 spirit stones. It was quite a lot. In the late stage of the Golden Core realm, he could only receive a bit over 100 spirit stones from the sect. Unfortunately, he needed tens of thousands of spirit stones to accelerate his progress. After seeing off senior sister Duanmu, Jiang Hao started planting spirit herbs. This was the first batch. Once this was successful, the next batch would be easy. Whether he could progress in his cultivation would depend on his success and the senior giving him more herbs. In the southern region, in the Hidden Cloud Prefecture, Baizhu appeared on the mountain peak and took a deep breath. "Finally, back here. I didn't expect to be this lucky. I can still find teleportation arrays." Xiao Yi's strength had improved a lot recently, and she couldn't help but sigh as she looked at the mountains and rivers around her. The difference between the southern and western regions didn't seem very vast. In the past few years, they had traveled from the southern to the western regions and then back from the west. They had gone through many things. It felt like a dream. "Is life so exciting outside, princess?" Xiao Yi asked. "No." Baizhu shook her head. "Only these few years have been somewhat exciting. There have been so many events. I feel like I have been constantly trying to push things ahead and trying to make things happen. I feel like the person we're looking for is near the Heavenly Note sect." "So, you didn't really want to come here, princess?" Xiao Yi asked. Baizhu nodded. "Anyway, it's better not to come here if possible. But we have to visit for the sake of your cultivation." Xiao Yi was puzzled. She already had a cultivation technique. At that moment, Baizhu suddenly paused. "Let's rest here for tonight, and we'll set off tomorrow. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 916. Master interested in Xiao Li's senior sister. When Jiang Hao returned to his house, he calculated the cost of cultivating high-quality spirit herbs. The spirit beast was by his side, boasting about its great demonic face. Jiang Hao didn't pay much attention to it. After all, it was just some trivial matter. If it were something important, the spirit beast wouldn't wait until that moment to mention it. Occasionally, it would bring up Lin Ji. It mentioned that although Lin Ji still got beaten up, he had started to make some friends. He had learned to adapt to his situation. He was making an effort to survive. He figured some things out on his own and learned others from the spirit beast. Jiang Hao just listened to these things, then started thinking about the spirit herbs. The herbs he was planting were special and more challenging. It also cost him more. Previously, he spent over 30,000, but this time, even with delay, it might only require over 30,000. He had 440,000 spirit stones left. A mere 30,000 spirit stones were nothing to worry about. As his cultivation realm continued to rise, he accumulated more and more spirit stones. He couldn't spend them all. As he was thinking about how many batches of spirit herbs he could afford with 440,000 spirit stones, he suddenly felt the stone tablet vibrate. It seemed like it was time for a gathering. Jiang Hao sighed. Finally, it was here. He had quite a few things he needed to be done through the gathering. He could ask about the Shangwan family because of Mu Longyu. He could only ask in the gathering. Master, the spirit beast suddenly called out. Did Shally find a mistress for you? Huh? Jiang Hao was puzzled. What was the spirit beast talking about? She mentioned a senior sister. Is this senior sister the mistress she found for you? Have you taken a liking to her, master? The spirit beast asked. Taken a liking to her? Jiang Hao suddenly thought of Hong Yuye, who was incomparably beautiful. He wouldn't have such feelings for her. That would be dangerous. Jiang Hao shook his head. Not interested, the spirit beast asked in surprise. Jiang Hao shook his head again. Then, are you interested in her? The spirit beast looked a bit puzzled. Master, you're indecisive. My friends usually have a lot of experience in this matter. If you're not interested, then you must be interested. The spirit beast frowned. Master, let me find someone for you. Jiang Hao was speechless. Master, having only one mistress is not enough. You're mighty. You are an emperor among men. You should have many mates, the spirit beast said earnestly. Jiang Hao glanced at the spirit beast. He then walked to the courtyard. He needed to prepare and then attend the gathering. There would probably be more things happening. Master, wait for me. My friends will help me. They know many suitable mistresses. They'll find someone better than what Shaoli found. They walked side by side as the sun cast shadows on the ground. At midnight, Jiang Hao entered the stone tablet. He prepared a bit and planned to share everything he could at this gathering. There were 5 people in the public area. After the exchange of greetings, Jiang Hao and the others sat down. Dan Yuan looked at everyone. Any issues with your cultivation? Senior Dan Yuan, what will be the consequences if one simultaneously cultivates 4 techniques? Guei asked. Some people have thought about it, and some have tried it. Dan Yuan smiled. They failed. They exploded and died. Later, someone found a balance among them and created auxiliary techniques. Do you have them? Guei asked. I don't. Dan Yuan shook his head. If you want them, you could try asking the Saint Bandits. They might have it. Guei nodded. Dan Yuan then asked about Old Man Corpse C. In the southern region, on the way to Heavenly Notes sect. According to what I learned, he must be at the Hidden Cloud Prefecture right now. Guei couldn't figure out whether her luck was good or bad. How did she encounter such a person again? Heavenly Notes sect. Dan Yuan was surprised. Yes, he went to the south and inquired about the special places in the south. The Heavenly Gate sect directed him to the Heavenly Notes sect, said Xing. Dan Yuan nodded. Who among you is in the south? I am, Xing said. Me too, Guei said. Me too, said Jiang Hao in a low voice. Gui's scalp went numb. When she was in the west, everyone was in the west. When she reached the south, everyone seemed to be there too. She increasingly felt that wherever she went, major incidents followed. Who has the time to convey a message to him? Dan Yuan asked. His current strength should not be at the level of a mortal ascension platform, but it's dangerous if he releases the Corpse C. Oh, go, Guei said. Neither Xing nor Jing spoke up. What message should I convey? Guei asked. Conveying a message was not dangerous. She had plenty of ways to handle it. Tell him that, for now, he should stay away from the Heavenly Notes sect, Dan Yuan said. That didn't surprise the others. The Heavenly Notes sect had the Heavenly Fate Misfortune Pearl and the Earth Extreme Silent Pearl. The Saint Bandits were also sealed over there. That place was mysterious and dangerous, so rushing and was perilous. What do you need, Xing? Dan Yuan asked. I need to go overseas. If necessary, I would like help from someone below the immortal realm. Preferably someone capable, Xing said. All right, Dan Yuan nodded. Then, he turned to Gue. Snow God pills, said Gue. Do you have any information about the abyssal sea flowing backward? Dan Yuan asked. Lu shook his head. Seeing this, Jiang Hao slowly said, It's an omen of the 12 heavenly kings ascending to immortality. The 12 heavenly kings are ascending to immortality? Gue was shocked. How is that possible? Even the heavenly kings who opened the path to immortality failed. The 12 of them planned to ascend together, Jiang Hao said calmly. How is that possible? Gue was even more shocked. Xing, Jing, and Zhang were all grateful that Gue was present at the gathering. It's an opportunity, but they can't grasp it, Jiang Hao said. So, it's an omen of the 12 heavenly kings ascending to immortality, Dan Yuan nodded. According to records, the opportunity for the 12 heavenly kings has appeared a few times, but no one has succeeded. I don't know if they can succeed this time. Then he looked at Jing. Jing, what reward do you want? Jiang Hao wasn't in a hurry to ask for a reward. He was waiting for the next phase. Jiang Hao was going to trade with quite a few people here. It just so happened that many owed him a favor. Whether he could find Feng Hua was also related to the gathering. The reason he hadn't gone to the Lawless Tower was that he was waiting. He was waiting for that item to be found. As for the other two in the tower, there was no rush. Do any of you have anything to trade? Gue asked. I do, Jiang Hao said. This surprised Gue. Jing rarely traded. It made her uneasy. Something big was going on. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 917. Luck backfired as the trading phase began. Jiang Hao was the first to speak. The others were perplexed. It seemed that something was about to happen. It was well known that Jing paid attention mostly to major events. If it wasn't something major, he didn't really participate. Jiang Hao looked at Zhang. Zhang, are you in the West? Yes. Zhang nodded. I want to ask about the 9 rain tea leaves of the Divine Rotation sect and those related to it, Jiang Hao said. Do you want to take them away? Zhang asked. Yes. It would be better for them to be taken away to the academy for safety. Then, prepare a box of tea and deliver it to Guanzhongfei of the Divine Rotation sect, Jiang Hao said. Zhang thought for a moment and asked, You need me to find people related to the tea? How many specifically? Probably 2 to 3, Jiang Hao said. Those would likely be Mangu's wife and children. Jiang Hao didn't know how many children Mangu had. All right, find them, make sure they are protected, and then get a box of tea. That's all. Zhang asked to confirm. Jiang Hao thought for a moment. If the person related to the tea is a woman, ask her for an item that is related to her. He wanted to complete everything in one go. Zhang nodded. Jiang Hao asked, Is there anything you need, Zhang? If it's not too difficult, I want the same reward as last time. If it's too difficult, they'll bring up the reward next time, Zhang said calmly. Jiang Hao nodded. That suited him as well. At that moment, Lu said, I've used your technique. It worked perfectly. What reward would you like in exchange, Jing? Information about the Shangwan family. Any news, their abilities, behavior, character, basically anything you can find, said Jiang Hao. Do you need anything else? Lu asked. Jiang Hao shook his head. Information about the Shangwan family was enough. They'll try to collect detailed information, Lu said. Jiang Hao didn't mind. He wanted to see what kind of people the Shangwan family were. If helping them put himself in danger, he wouldn't offer it. Lu turned to Xing. Xing, the information you want has been found. I can give it to you anytime. Xing nodded. This made his tasks much easier. Lu didn't mention any reward. He would wait for it. I'm heading to Heavenly Notes sect, Gue said. Jiang Hao knew she was there for Sage's pages. It was part of his deal with Xing, and Gue acted as the intermediary. With the deal completed, she could ask for her reward from Xing. You can look for him as usual, Jiang Hao said. Gue nodded. She felt quite lucky. Throughout this journey, she benefited a great deal, even with helping others. She didn't have anything she wanted Xing's help with. Do you have any more trades to do? Gui asked. Jiang Hao turned to Gui. Are you curious about the person behind you? Huh. Do you know who they are? Gui was surprised. Others were also quite curious because this unknown person had plunged Gui into the vortex in the west. They knew that someone like that would definitely not be ordinary. I think I do, said Jiang Hao. Who is it? Gui asked. Have you ever spied on the 100-Night Curse before? Jiang Hao asked. I have, Gui said. Is it because I spied on the 100 Nights Curse that the person targets me? Dan Yuan had mentioned that the 100 Nights Curse was connected to someone. The chef at the noodle shop had also asked her if she had spied on something dangerous. At that time, she hadn't known about it. Yes, that person is named Gu Changsheng, Jiang Hao said. Everyone was puzzled because no one knew who that was. There was no record of such a person anywhere. Everyone looked at Dan Yuan. Gu Changsheng, a formidable power in the West. He was a lord of the West a little earlier than Gu Jin. Later, he was defeated by Gu Jin and embarked on a bizarre path, Dan Yuan said. A bizarre path? Gui was shocked. What kind of path is that? That. You have to ask Jing about it. Dan Yuan smiled. Jiang Hao said, according to some records, he was cursed to fuse with the longevity tree and transformed into the longevity curse becoming tree. The longevity clan was overshadowed by this curse and lived in the shadows. Could that curse be related to the 100 Nights Curse? Gui was shocked. Jiang Hao didn't answer. He wasn't sure. If it was indeed related to the 100 Nights Curse, then the Shangwan family might be connected to the longevity clan. Gui was puzzled. But why would he target me? Perhaps it's because no one has dared to spy on him before. Zhang said. Gui was speechless. She never dreamed it would be like this, just because she spied on a curse, but it all made sense. She was adept at curses, and the other party seemed to be skilled in curses as well. What will happen to you? Liu asked. If the other party has the upper hand, it'll be dangerous. It's important to find a common ground to communicate, said Jiang Hao. How can we do that? Gui asked. Now that we know of his existence, it's possible to establish contact with him. But we need the help of a very powerful individual, Jiang Hao said and looked at Senior Dan Yuan. There is no one here stronger than Senior Dan Yuan. Gui also looked at Senior Dan Yuan. Can I exchange my previous reward for your help instead, Senior? You can, Senior Dan Yuan said bluntly. But the success of such a move isn't very high. We need an intermediary, Jiang Hao said. Under the minds of the Heavenly Notes sect, there is a shadow of the longevity curse tree. That will work. Senior Dan Yuan nodded, then looked at Gui. Is there anyone you have in mind to be an intermediary? Gui felt like her luck had started to backfire. She had to find a way to solve this problem. It was dangerous to be targeted like this, but at least she could try to contact the person and negotiate. This method will do. Gui nodded, then turned to Jiang Hao. Is there anything you need, Senior Jing? Not right now, Jiang Hao said. The reward could also be put on hold for now. Perhaps her curses might prove useful in the future. With that, the trading phase came to an end. Jiang Hao had said almost everything he wanted to say. The rest would depend on how these people chose to act. All that was left was to wait. As for Old Man Corpse C, he needed to be cautious. If he were to open the Corpse C to deal with the Heavenly Notes sect, he would be in big trouble. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 918. The Calm of the Strong in the West. Yin Yuezhi walked out into a courtyard at the Astronomical Academy. She gazed at the sky. Bright moonlight spilled over the academy. After the trade phase, everyone briefly discussed the recent events. There was nothing special in the West from last time, and there were no special messages from the East or North. Many people overseas were restless due to the chaotic sea. Many events occurred in the South. It was mostly related to the Heavenly Notes sect. There were also the matters of Gu Changsheng and the backward flow of the abyssal sea since the 12 heavenly kings were ascending to immortality. Unfortunately, it was almost impossible for the 12 heavenly kings to become immortals. Many things that ordinary people could never get answers to in their lifetime could be known just by sitting at the gathering. The power of the stone tablet was evident. Yin Yueji shook her head and walked outside. Soon, she left the Astronomical Academy and headed toward the Dive Rotation sect. 10 days later, Yin Yueji stood in front of the Divine Rotation sect. She had someone announce her arrival. Soon, an elder came out. When he saw Yin Yueji, his face turned pale. The people from their sect had seen the incident at the Mountain and River Valley sect. If she sought revenge, it would have a huge impact on their sect. Normally, they wouldn't worry too much, but Yin Yueji had been frightening. They were terrified of her. Back then, she had said she would destroy every sect that interfered with what she had to do. Although she came alone this time, they didn't want to take any chances. "Miss Yin, please come in," Nangong Guangzhou warmly said. Yin Yueji nodded politely. "Thank you, fellow disciple." They went to the guest area, and Nangong Guangzhou brewed a pot of September Spring. As September Spring tea had entered a 10-year hiatus, having a pot was extremely rare. It showed his sincerity when he offered it. Yin Yueji looked at the sea without much thought. "Disciples Nangong, can you handle the matters of your sect?" "Of course, the head should have come out to talk to you. But due to the previous attack from the undead, he is currently injured and indisposed," Nangong Guangzhou said apologetically. He hoped that his sincerity would avoid any conflict. After all, the Astronomical Academy was an immortal sect, and they couldn't afford to make things look bad. Unless their sect wanted animosity with the Astronomical Academy, he had to be very careful. "That's fine," Yin Yueji said seriously. "I'm here this time to talk with your esteemed sect. I remember there were people from the Divine Rotation sect back in the Mountain River Valley sect." Nangong Guangzhou was surprised and worried. Still, he said, "Indeed, we had our people there, but that was an individual action unrelated to our sect. They were sent to the Cliff of Reflection a while ago. I hope that is okay." Yin Yueji nodded. "That's good to hear. I heard that you have 9 rain tea leaves here. Is that true?" "Well," Nangong Guangzhou hesitated. "It seems not. In that case, let's talk about the person who attacked me back then." Yin Yueji placed the teacup down on the table. "Yes," Nangong Guangzhou quickly said. "We do have 9 rain tea leaves here. They'll have someone fetch it." "I'll go myself." Yin Yueji stood up. "That is inconvenient?" "If it's inconvenient, let's talk about the Cliff of Reflection." "No, it's perfectly all right. Please follow me," Nangong Guangzhou said. If she was here for the 9 rain tea leaves, he would give it to her. As long as they gave her what she wanted, there would be no problem. But if they failed to make her happy, it would be disastrous. When he thought of the people who had rushed to attack her that time, he felt a bit angry. Why risk it with the Astronomical Academy? Wouldn't it be better to retreat? Why would they force this person to take out the astronomical scroll? Yin Yueji walked to the back, led by Nangong Guangzhou. The further back they went, the more she frowned. The spiritual energy gradually diminished, and the place became increasingly harsh. Was this place suitable for cultivation? Maintaining one's cultivation in a place like this was admirable. The environment here may be poor, but it is very suitable for tempering the mind, Nangong Guangzhou said. Yin Yueji nodded. She didn't say anything. She just wanted to find the tea and the people associated with it. After a while, they arrived at the front of a small hill. There was a thatched cottage there, and in front of the cottage was a small tea tree with a hint of spiritual energy. "This is the 9 rain tea," Nangong Guangzhou said as he landed in front of the tea tree. But as soon as they landed, a person rushed out and stood in front of the tea leaves. It was a little boy. Yin Yueji glanced at him. The boy looked to be only about 10 years old, but that was only on the surface. He must be much older. It was apparent that there was some problem with him. What was even more surprising was that the boy's hands and feet were chained. It almost blended into his flesh. He might have been wearing them since he was a child. Not long after, a middle-aged woman came out of the house. Her hair was neatly tied up, and her complexion was pale. Her hands and feet were also bound with iron chains. "Elder Nangong, you cannot touch this tea tree," she said. "In the past, I couldn't touch it because the head ordered so. Now you have no choice but to give it to me," Nangong Guangzhou said coldly. Then he looked at Yin Yuezhi and smiled. "Miss Yin can have as much as she wants. Is this tea very special?" Yin Yuezhi asked. It wasn't special before, but the tea is irrigated with her own cultivation now. Plucking a leaf would take away a portion of her power. Of course, if she refuses, the tea cannot be preserved. Nangong Guangzhou turned and looked at the little boy. The boy glared at him. Then boom, the little boy was sent flying, and immediately a force enveloped him. It seemed like it would be the end for him. "Will you give the tea or not?" Nangong Guangzhou asked the woman. His eyes showed murderous intent. If she said no, he would strike. The woman was shocked. The head had promised not to target them. "Mama!" The painful cry of the little boy echoed. The woman seemed to wake up from her shock. She looked conflicted. Under Nangong Guangzhi's threat, she yielded. "They'll give it to you. Please, start with a box," Yin Yuezhi said calmly. In a short while, a box of tea was handed over to Yin Yuezhi. At that moment, the woman's face became even paler. Nangong Guangzhou no longer paid attention to the woman, but asked Yin Yuezhi if she needed anything else. "There is indeed one more thing." Yin Yuezhi looked at the woman and the little boy. "Her and him and that. I want to take them away." That's what she wanted. That is, Nangong Guangzhou hesitated. Yin Yuezhi took out the astronomical scroll. "Is it difficult for you to decide, Elder Nangong?" Nangong Guangzhou smiled bitterly when he saw the scroll. "Not difficult at all. Take them away, and about what happened before." "Before?" Yin Yuezhi was puzzled. "Did we have any conflicts before?" "No, none at all," Nangong Guangzhou smiled and said. "Miss, you must be mistaken. Our sect has never caused trouble for you, nor will we interfere with your affairs. It's getting late now. It's better to take them and leave soon." In a short while, Yin Yuezhi left with the people and the tree. Nangong Guangzhou watched them leave. At that moment, a middle-aged man appeared beside Nangong Guangzhou and sighed. Who could it be to involve the Astronomical Academy in this way? Are they doing this for someone else? Is that person really worth so much? Let's just leave it at that. Nangong Guangzhou also sighed. It is said that Yin Yuezhi has a very high status in the Astronomical Academy. After she became an immortal, the people in the Academy valued her greatly. If she wants someone, we have no choice. The two did not speak further and turned to leave. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 919. Being treated kindly. Yin Yuezhi was not an ordinary cultivator. She was an immortal. She had reached a realm that even ordinary cultivators cannot aspire to. Her life had been full of hardships. There was no hurdle in her life that she couldn't overcome. As she traveled through the sky, she was graceful and elegant. "Senior," the woman hesitated to speak. She carried a child in her arms and followed fearfully. "Feel free to ask any questions," Yin Yuezhi said. "Where are you taking us?" the woman asked. "To the Astronomical Academy," Yin Yuezhi said. "The Astronomical Academy?" The woman was perplexed. "The immortal sect? Is it because your people wanted the tea leaves?" "No." Yin Yuezhi shook her head. She did not explain further. "Then, who wants it?" the woman asked. Yin Yuezhi looked at her and said kindly, "Don't ask about it, please. You can ask about what will happen to you if you want. I won't harm you, at least not for now. Once you enter the Astronomical Academy, you will be protected," said Yin Yuezhi. "But you won't be allowed to leave the academy." Also, Yin Yuezhi reached out and grabbed the iron chain on the hands of the little boy. With a gentle tug, the chain broke. The iron chains on his feet also shattered. The woman's hands and feet were also freed. When the chains broke, the woman felt a little dizzy. They were no longer bound by their sect. It felt like she had returned to the past for a moment. She was herself again. Her eyes turned red with emotion. She lowered her head and said, "Thank you, Senior." She didn't know what the person in front of her wanted them for, but from the moment she saw the chains being removed, she knew that this person was different from those in the divine rotation sect. Yin Yuezhi left with them and headed toward the astronomical academy. In the ancient city, Yin Yuezhi brought the people to an inn and knocked on the door. The person inside had a bad temper and was about to get angry when he opened the door. But when he saw Yin Yuezhi, Guan Zhongfei turned pale and trembled. Senior, keep this box of tea leaves on you for now. And also, Yin Yuezhi looked at the woman. Is there anything that you can give me to prove that you're now safe? The woman, holding the little boy, hesitated. She nodded. Yes. She then used her hair to weave something and handed it to Yin Yuezhi. Yin Yuezhi put that in a box and handed it to Guan Zhongfei. Keep it safe. Someone will come to collect it. I won't fail you, senior, said Guan Zhongfei. This person was an immortal. He had never seen an immortal before. Yin Yuezhi nodded and then left with the woman and the child. Before setting out, she had already instructed someone to find Guan Zhongfei. Having seen him once before, it was convenient for her to find him again. Yin Yuezhi did not attract much attention at the academy. She left the people to be inhabited and then departed. The woman's name was Sang Xiao, and she was somewhat famous in the divine rotation sect. However, within the immortal sect, she seemed quite ordinary. At that moment, she looked around anxiously at the people nearby. She noticed that even the small task workers had quite strong cultivation realms. Newcomer, an old woman looked at Sang Xiao and asked, "Go get a token, and then find a place to stay. After that, come report to me for work." Sang Xiao nodded nervously. Later, she found a place where she could collect her things. The receptionist was a middle-aged man. "Greetings, senior," Sang Xiao said cautiously. "Here to collect your things?" The man looked up at Sang Xiao, then his gaze lingered on the child. The child hid behind Sang Xiao. He was somewhat frightened. Senior," Sang Xiao said nervously. She was afraid that the man disliked her son. "He is injured all over," said the man. "Go to the pharmacy and have them treat the child. The child cannot stay here for work." Sang Xiao was shocked. She couldn't abandon her child. Before she could speak, the man said, "The child should go to school. Even if he's too young for that, he should be learning something. After you find a place to stay and heal from your injuries, take the token to the school for registration. They will arrange it for you. They will start with basic classes." The man handed everything to Sang Xiao. Everything had already been arranged. She just needed to find her way there. Sang Xiao stood still. She was at a loss. All these years, she was treated worse than the animals at the divine rotation sect. She had never imagined that she would be treated kindly anywhere. It had been more than 20 days since the last gathering. Jiang Hao was living his normal life. He had arranged everything and was now waiting for a response. 20 days weren't very long, and the people from the Lawless Tower had not rushed him. So, he could calmly cultivate high-quality spiritual herbs. The first batch of herbs had taken root and sprouted. Perhaps it won't take too long for him to reach the late stage of the Immortal Ascension platform. Junior Brother Han seemed to have gone out for training again after his last visit. When he came back, he might be in the late stage of the Golden Core realm already. How could then advance to the peak of the Golden Core realm? It was a bit surprising that Gui hadn't arrived yet. In theory, it shouldn't take too long for her to reach the Hidden Cloud Prefecture. She's probably held back by Old Man Corpse C. Jiang Hao thought to himself. In addition to that, there was also Gu Changsheng. Gui was also preparing for that. The spirit beast had been quite busy lately. He was trying to find a mistress for him. Senior Sister Miao and the spirit beast were so similar. The two seemed to be very interested in matters like that. Shaoli, in contrast, was displeased. She threatened to complain to the senior sister. Jiang Hao felt that these people were just worrying about nothing in particular. They were so jobless that they wanted to get involved in things like these. A couple of days ago, Lu Xingqian had visited him and told him that there would be visitors in the sect. They were from the Heavenly Saints sect. They had fought against them, and they were here for a visit. Jiang Hao was in awe. It seemed that they didn't take the previous conflicts seriously. As long as the benefits were sufficient, They didn't want to make enemies of each other. As for when these people would arrive, Jiang Hao had no way of knowing. The Holy Master's divine soul was well hidden. So, he didn't need to worry. At night, Jiang Hao took out the stone tablet and checked if there were any new messages. He didn't know if they were chatting inside. Sure enough, he saw Zhang had left a message saying the deed was done, and the things had been handed over to Guan Zhongfei. Gui was still looking for Old Man Corpse C. Ancient city? Jiang Hao thought for a moment. The golden ring was not too far from the ancient city. Then, he disappeared on the spot. He would go and get it himself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 920. Deserving of the title of Master the next day, on the 5th floor of the Lawless Tower, Mu Longyu sat in front of King Hai Luo and said earnestly, Hai Luo, this opportunity is rare. You can still come back. What's there to go back to? King Hai Luo sneered. Whether I want to become an immortal or not depends on my own will. If I don't want to become an immortal, can you force me? His primordial spirit realm is not at its peak, so he can't become an immortal. He's afraid of embarrassment, said Mi Lingwei. If he doesn't try, he will never fail, and he can always deny everything. Do you think you can get me to do it by provoking me? Hai Luo leaned back mockingly. Hai Luo, what if I ask your master for help? Will you agree then? Mu Longyu asked. King Hai Luo snorted. Are you trying to threaten me? You think he can control me? He's just a golden core. Suddenly, footsteps echoed. King Hai Luo instantly fell silent. Ha ha ha! Mangu laughed heartily as he looked at Hai Luo. You are a heavenly king. Is this how the heavenly kings overseas are? You are actually afraid of a golden core realm cultivator. That's so funny. Mi Lingwei turned to Mangu. You should keep a low profile. Otherwise, King Hai Luo will teach you how to behave. Don't joke with me. Mangu sneered. Do you really think he can threaten me? A golden core realm cultivator? He cannot threaten me even after 100 years. At that moment, footsteps approached again. A woman in a black robe entered and glanced around before finally arriving at the 5th cell. Mangu, what? Did they send someone else to interrogate me? This time, the cultivation realm is acceptable 1,000 times stronger than the previous golden core realm cultivator. I despise those weaker than me, Mangu said coldly. I'm not here to interrogate you. The woman in the black robe took out a small box and placed it in front of the prison cell. The junior at the golden core realm that you despise told me to give this to you. He said that if you don't like him, he won't come. Hope you can appreciate him a little after seeing this. After placing the item down, the woman in the black robe left. Ha ha, Mangu sneered. He is quite sensible. Unfortunately, he is still at the golden core realm. No matter how much effort he puts in, he is useless. However, Zhuang Yuzhen, King Hai Luo, and Mi Lingwei all felt a strange sense of familiarity. It was going to happen soon. King Hai Luo's master had taken action already, but they weren't sure. Zhuang Yuzhen and the others noticed the change in King Hai Luo's attitude. Bing Qing also noticed it. She looked a bit curious. Then, she looked at Mangu. Mu Longyu also turned to look. He wanted to see what Jiang Hao had done. Mangu took the box. I want to see what he has sent me. Is he trying to win me over? How naive. Open it and take a look, Mi Lingwei said. She was expectant. Mangu snorted disdainfully and opened the box. He didn't care because he knew that nothing could faze him. What could someone bring within just 20 days? It was just a show to win the favor of the crowd. However, the moment he opened the box, his eyes narrowed. There were neatly arranged tea leaves in the box. There was spiritual energy circulating around it. Mangu shook his head. This is impossible. How could this be? Absolutely impossible. Mangu roared. Impossible. Don't try to deceive me. I won't be fooled. This is fake. Come here and face me. Mangu yelled. How can you threaten me with such a thing? This is ridiculous. What have you done? Why? Why? I want to talk to you. Where is that golden core realm cultivator? Call him here. You're shameless. I want to see him. Please, call him. You can ask me anything. I want the golden core, realm, cultivator. Mi Lingwei was shocked. King Hai Luo, your master works differently now. Before, he only used words, but now, I got used to him beckoning his victims. Well, King Hai Luo was numb. I still think his previous method was better. Zhuang Yuzha nodded. Before, they had a chance to make up their minds when he beckoned them. However, this method left no space for doubt. It's better not to be too confident, especially in this place. Mi Lingwei said with emotion. No one here is just ordinary. No matter how extraordinary the captives were outside, it was better to keep a low profile here, especially when facing Jiang Hao. The lantern bearer was somewhat surprised. Mangu had been untouchable. However, he was begging for Jiang Hao to come and talk to him. The reason for all the commotion was that Jiang Hao had sent him something. It shook Mangu very badly. It is no wonder he is the only one who can grow the divine flower. Perhaps there is something for me to gain here. The lantern bearer felt strange. Life was sometimes unexpected. Outside, Insha knew what was happening on the 5th floor. Senior sister, what exactly is the thing that can make Mangu act like this? We should interrogate him now. Why stall? Asked another black-robed woman. There is no rush. Junior brother Jiang will come soon. Let's delay it for a while, Insha said. Don't think too much about junior brother Jiang's methods. Just enjoy this while it lasts. The black-robed woman nodded. Senior sister, why do the captives on the 5th floor call junior brother Jiang their master? The black-robed woman asked. She had just returned to the sect from outside, where she had been looking for a traitor who had slaughtered some disciples of the sect 30 years ago. She had killed the traitor and returned to the sect, so she didn't understand much. Before, the 5th floor was just an ordinary floor with cells until we called junior brother Jiang for help. Since then, there hasn't been anyone on the 5th floor that junior brother Jiang couldn't interrogate. Don't be fooled by the tough talk of the people there. It's not time yet. They will surrender eventually, said Insha confidently. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 921. Then, I must go to the Heavenly Note sect even more around the middle of March. Jiang Hao sat in his courtyard and enjoyed the gentle breeze. He didn't go to the Lawless Tower deliberately to make Mangu angry. The longer the wait, the more unsettled the opponent would become. After that, ITLL be easier to deal with him. It didn't take him long to come back from the west. Guan Zhongfei seemed to have prepared everything long ago. He had been waiting for someone to retrieve the items from him. Of course, he didn't show himself when Guan Zhongfei took the item. Guan Zhongfei still didn't know who had actually taken the things. Jiang Hao didn't care about that. He just left word that he took them. Guan Zhongfei would figure out the rest on his own. Upon returning, he sent the item to the Lawless Tower and requested senior sister Insha to hand it to the captive. If he was correct in his guess, Mangu would be furious. He would want to meet Jiang Hao. There was no need to worry. He only had to wait. Jiang Hao looked at the peach tree. It could undergo another incarnation this year. He didn't know how much it would cost in the future. It had undergone incarnations many times, but there hadn't been much change. When it underwent incarnation for the last time, it would undoubtedly become extraordinary. It would become a divine tree. It had its disadvantages. It wouldn't mature every year for one. Master, I have found a person for you, said the spirit beast. It had been sleeping less lately and was busy with some matters every day. During the day, senior sister Miao would take the spirit beast and Shaoli with her somewhere. They were not simple individuals, and together, they were even more formidable. Hardly anyone could oppose them. They had been everywhere in the sect, especially the spirit beast. No formation could trap it, and no one could sense its approach. Don't you have work to do? Jiang Hao asked. My friends on the road know that I will be a formidable demon in the future. No trouble comes looking for me, said the spirit beast. Jiang Hao glanced at the spirit beast without speaking. As for the person it had found, he had no intention of knowing who they were. He also had no intention of letting the spirit beast do anything else. It would only add to the trouble. Do you want to take a look, master? If you're satisfied, I can help you propose marriage, said the spirit beast. Jiang Hao chuckled. The spirit beast was getting annoying. Perhaps he could release it in the wild. But the spirit beast was indeed getting bigger and bigger. It might reach the primordial spirit realm soon. Master, she is in the law enforcement hall. When will you go there? Asked the spirit beast. Jiang Hao got up and headed to the spirit herb garden. He needed to take care of it. The more he took care of it, the stronger he would become. Otherwise, advancement would take very long. He didn't want to wait too long. When he arrived, he saw Miao Tinglian. She looked excited. Junior brother Jiang, this time we finally found a suitable person for you. He wanted to go and find Mu Qi. He also needed to check on the herbs. Along with that, he also needed to make people think that he followed the blood wish path. He went to visit Bai Yi. There had been no new changes. He also visited a few people from the blood wish path. Their progress was how it was before, but they were beginning to stand out. The future depended on those who could truly reach the top. In the Hidden Cloud Prefecture, Bai Zhu felt tired. Old Man Corpse, she was very hard to find. That person intentionally avoided her. That person is an old monster. Even though his strength is clearly not as good as mine, he can still avoid me like this. Bai Zhu, with Xiao Yi, looked around and felt that there were formations in many places. Someone was deliberately making her lose her way. Although they were not dangerous, she always felt that she was deviating from the original direction. If it weren't for Senior Dan Yuan's help, she wouldn't be so tired. But Dan Yuan's people would take a long time to arrive, so she was in a hurry. After breaking through the formations several times, she finally found the weakest point. It could be a trap. It might be there to lure her in, but she wasn't afraid. At that time, black mist rose from the surroundings, and countless spirit stones evaporated into the earth. The mountains seemed to be distorted. Bai Zhu walked on. On top of the mountain, she saw an old man. Amazing! You little girl are indeed powerful, said Old Man Corpse C in admiration. Little girl, how many years have you been practicing cultivation? I started cultivating at the age of 6, and I've been practicing for 12 years. Now I'm 18 years old, said Bai Zhu seriously. Recently, her luck had been excellent, but she knew it was temporary. Huh? Old Man Corpse C laughed. You've been looking for me for so long, and you're not afraid at all. I'm not here to oppose you, Senior. I'm just here to deliver a message, Bai Zhu said seriously. What message? Who sent the message? Old Man Corpse C seemed interested. I don't know who the person is, but he knows that you're going to the Heavenly Notes sect. He asked me to remind you not to go there for now, Bai Zhu said. What? Old Man Corpse C asked. That place is not normal, and there are some frightening things happening there. It's better not to cause trouble, Bai Zhu said. Such as? Old Man Corpse C showed no fear. For example, the things you saw in the west. Do you remember what was in the sky? Are those 2 pearls in the Heavenly Notes sect? Old Man Corpse C was surprised. It's uncertain, but it's said that the person who possesses these things is in the south. What if he's near the Heavenly Notes sect? Some things couldn't be explained clearly. It would only cause endless trouble. Do you know who it is? I don't know. Old Man Corpse C suddenly laughed. The pearls are sealed. Is there anyone daring enough to break the seal? If I go to the Heavenly Notes sect, will he break the seal just to welcome me? Kid, are you underestimating those objects, or are you overestimating me? Bai Zhu felt helpless. The Heavenly Notes sect is really not normal. If you insist on going, there's nothing I can do. But I hope you keep a low profile. Otherwise, you might suffer. The Heavenly Note sect was indeed strange. Old Man Corpse C might think it was a third-rate sect, and if he went there arrogantly, things could get messy. It seems that the place is indeed special. Since that's the case, I'm even more interested in going there. Old Man Corpse C looked very interested. I have never visited the South before, but now that I'm here, I must visit that place. I want to see what makes that place so special. Bai Zhu could only shrug. What else could she say? She could only wish him luck. After that, she retreated. The other party was not her opponent, and summoning reinforcements was too late. So, she left quietly with Qiao Yi. Annie Qiao, let's go to the Heavenly Notes sect. She needed to reach there faster than Old Man Corpse C. If he started fighting, it would be troublesome for her. Princess, don't you dislike that place? Qiao Yi asked. Baizhu smiled bitterly. It was something she couldn't escape. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 922. The Master's Mercy on the 5th floor of the Lawless Tower. Mu Longyu was still trying to persuade the Heavenly King Hai Luo. I feel like throwing up every time I see your face now, said King Hai Luo coldly. You better be sensible, Hai Luo, or you'll take action, Mu Longyu said icily. Go ahead and kill me then. You've experienced less than me. If you had the same experiences as me, I could defeat you with my little finger. What Hai Luo means is that he's not your opponent right now, but if he was, and you were at the same level as him, he could defeat you, said Mi Lingwei. Bang! Mangu banged on the cell wall. Come out! Mangu roared. He was filled with hate and resentment. He couldn't understand, but he didn't want to think about it now. He wanted to ask that person what he had done, but that person simply didn't appear. They were doing it on purpose. They were torturing him on purpose. Don't struggle. Hai Luo's master usually visits after a few days once that is done. As long as he doesn't appear, you can feel relieved. It means he wouldn't do anything. If, later, you don't behave properly, then that's another matter, said Mi Lingwei. Do you mean that Jiang Mao won't immediately tell the sect what he might have found on us? Asked the lantern bearer. Yes. King Hai Lui's master is separate from the Lawless Tower. The Lawless Tower won't make him do anything he doesn't want to. They have mutual understanding, said Mi Lingwei. Junior brother Jiang is even more extraordinary than I thought, said the lantern bearer. He has someone behind him, Bing Qing said in a low voice. Mi Lingwei didn't say anything anymore. They didn't know if someone was behind Jiang Hao. Even if there was someone, what could they do? They didn't know who the person behind Jiang Hao was, but it was evident that someone was supporting him. It also meant that they couldn't offend Jiang Hao. Jiang Hao remained the master of the 5th floor. Was he a puppet? What if he wasn't? Come out! Mangu roared again. His voice was hoarse, but he kept yelling. No one knew why he was so agitated. Who are you calling? A black-robed woman asked. She held a box in her hands and looked down at Mangu. At first, Mangu was so arrogant, but he was like a poor dog at the moment. He barked and begged. Whatever method Jiang Hao used was terrifying. I want to see him. Please let me meet that Golden Core Realm cultivator. Otherwise, I won't say anything. I won't tell you anything unless I see him. Let him come here, and we can discuss everything, Mangu said. Junior brother Jiang is busy, but he sent you something. He said that when you see it, you might not feel so agitated, said the black-robed woman. When he saw the box, Mangu instinctively stepped back. He was fearful. The crowd sighed. They seemed to see their own past. Back then, Jiang Hao beckoned to them. Whenever he did that, they got extremely worried. But there was nothing they could do. I want to see him. I don't want to see the box. Mangu stared at the woman in the black robe pleadingly. I'm just here to deliver something. It's useless to tell me this. Junior brother Jiang said he was busy. Whether you open this or not is up to you, said the black-robed woman. No matter how Mangu shouted, it was useless. Everyone looked at Mangu. Everyone was curious about what was inside the box and wanted to know how Mangu would react after seeing it. Fellow friend, don't be afraid. Hai Luo's master won't do something very extreme. Otherwise, do you think King Hai Luo would dare to speak so loudly here? Said Zhuang Yuzhen. Old bastard, do you think I'm like you? I don't fear that Golden Core Realm cultivator, said Hai Luo. Mi Lingwei also said, Friend Mangu, just take a look. It was sent by Jiang Hao, so even Mu Longyu wouldn't dare to check. Mangu stared at the box and hesitated. He finally picked up the box. His hands trembled. His breath became ragged. He knew he would see something terrifying. He couldn't figure out what it could be. Crack! The box was opened. He saw a few strands of braided hair. When he saw it, Mangu froze. He knelt weakly on the ground. Man Gus's eyes were wet with tears, and he started weeping. He cried loudly as though releasing years of repressed sorrows. Others didn't understand what had happened at all, but they realized Jiang Hao was still the master of the fifth floor. His status and position never shook. "He'll talk. He'll tell you everything," said Mangu as he choked with tears. "What do you want to know? He'll tell you everything. Everything." The lantern-bearer listened in disbelief. He felt that the fifth floor of the lawless tower was controlled by an invisible hand. Everyone seemed to appear in the palm of that hand. There was no escape. Insha and the black-robed woman were shocked, but no one knew what had happened. Man Gus's interrogation had come to an end. At the Cliff of Broken Hearts, Jiang Hao found out the news of the lawless tower. Mangu had confessed. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't go and find Feng Hua anyway. He would let the people of the sect do it. If Feng Hua were caught one day, she would also be kept on the fifth floor. Then, he could try to get information from her. As for her avatar in the Sunset Immortal sect, he hadn't paid attention to it for a long time. He could check it when he had time. 3 days later, people from the Heavenly Saint sect arrived. Their arrival would definitely lead to something big, and Jiang Hao didn't want any conflict with them. On that day, Baizhu also reached. She requested to see Jiang Hao. He welcomed her in his courtyard. "Hello, junior brother Jiang. It's been so long since we met you," said Baizhu. "Greetings, senior sister," said Jiang Hao. Baizhu smiled. "I'm here for something." Jiang Hao understood. She was here for the sage's pages. If she didn't take them, the words on them would disappear soon. After collecting the things, Baizhu said, "There's something I need to tell you, junior brother. Old Man Corpse C has reached the Hidden Cloud Prefecture. He is very strong. He might come to the Heavenly Notes sect. So, be careful. After all, a slight danger could make the pearls explode." She was only 18 and didn't want to die because of someone else's negligence. Jiang Hao sighed inwardly. It seemed that Old Man Corpse C had made up his mind. He wondered if that would bring about a big change. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 923. The Origin of the Dragon Pearl. Junior brother Jiang, you must be extremely careful. Baizhu said, "Try to stay away from danger. I think your sect probably won't need you to take action. There are countless powerful individuals here." "Thank you, senior." Jiang Hao bowed in gratitude. As someone he had only met a few times, it made him feel touched that she cared for his safety. "In that case, I won't disturb you anymore, junior brother Jiang. By the way, people from the Heavenly Saint sect have arrived. They must have some agendas. You must stay away. There's something wrong with their mentality," Baizhu said seriously. Jiang Hao thanked her again. With that, Baizhu turned to leave. The beautiful woman behind her was probably Qiao Yi. The heavenly bestowed techniques might have been for her. They only needed one more technique. After that, they could acquire the auxiliary techniques from the Saint Bandits. Then, she could cultivate the 4 techniques together. Jiang Hao thought about it, but didn't pay much attention to it. After all, it had nothing to do with him. Now that the sage's pages had been taken away, no one would come looking for him for a while. He didn't know what Old Man Corpse C would do. He would watch and wait. However, Baizhu was correct. He needed to keep his distance. Although the opponent's current strength was not at its peak, if he released the Corpse C, it would be dangerous. It was uncertain whether there was anyone in the entire Heavenly Notes sect who could fight it. Elder Baizhi should be able to do something. Back at the Cliff of Broken Hearts, Jiang Hao saw a junior from the outer sect. She was working hard. She was diligent and earnest. Everyone around her treated her well. That was Shangwan Qingsu. She had successfully stayed in the Cliff of Broken Hearts. This was also due to her abilities. Seeing Jiang Hao approach, she greeted him with a bow. Jiang Hao nodded and walked away. When he went out these days, people treated him with respect. In the past, it was he who paid respects to others. As his cultivation realm became higher and higher, Jiang Hao felt that the Cliff of Broken Hearts was no longer the same. Back in the courtyard, Jiang Hao waited. He waited for some news from the Shangwan family or news from Fenghua. He also needed to wait for Gui's message. She targeted the longevity curse tree, which was not something he needed to worry about. Jiang Hao took out the Dragon Pearl. The Dragon Pearl had consumed a lot of power. Even Hong Yuye was unable to recharge it. What could he do? Find a dragon clan? There were dragons on Chaos Stone Island. Should he go there again? Jiang Hao shook his head. It was too far away. He didn't know how to replenish the power in the Dragon Pearl. When he poured his power into the Dragon Pearl, a sudden burst of blue light appeared. It enveloped him. Jiang Hao tried to break free, but found that the pearl had an inexplicable suction force. It frantically absorbed the power from his body. It happened too fast. He felt helpless. When he sensed that the suction force did not stop, he immediately activated the reappearance of the hidden spirit. His power was once again absorbed. However, this time it wasn't as fierce as before. He used the first form of the heavenly blade, moonslaying. The knife intent severed his connection with the Dragon Pearl. The pearl returned to its original size. Then it fell to the ground. Jiang Hao breathed a sigh of relief. At that moment, the Dragon Pearl was much brighter than before. How was the power replenished? Jiang Hao furrowed his brows. If it could be replenished, why did Hong Yuye ask Xiao Li to give it to him? Was it because it was a small task that he needed to do himself? Jiang Hao had no answer. Seeing the Dragon Pearl on the ground, he hesitated for a moment. Then he picked it up with the heavenly blade. The heavenly blade was an extraordinary object. Even if the Dragon Pearl was remarkable, it should be unable to absorb his power through the heavenly blade. Jiang Hao realized that the Dragon Pearl had gained a considerable amount of power. This Dragon Pearl was very extraordinary. After placing the Dragon Pearl down, Jiang Hao began to meditate and rest to restore his strength. He wouldn't reach out to touch the pearl without recuperating first. It was too dangerous. After a long time, Jiang Hao opened his eyes again. The reappearance of the hidden spirit had been replenished, and he had fully recovered. A red figure appeared in his vision. Hong Yuye had arrived at some point. "Greeting, senior." Jiang Hao quickly stood up. Hong Yuye was drinking tea quietly. Jiang Hao was puzzled. At that moment, Hong Yuye gently put down the teacup. "Did you replenish the power of the Dragon Pearl?" "Yes." Jiang Hao nodded. "Bring it over." Hong Yuye glanced at the Dragon Pearl on the ground. Jiang Hao hesitated for a moment, but still bent down to pick up the Dragon Pearl. He placed it on the table and poured himself a cup of tea. It was the red azure tea. "Tell me what happened." Hong Yuye looked at the Dragon Pearl. Jiang Hao told her everything. "Can anyone replenish the power of the pearl, senior?" Hong Yuye raised an eyebrow at him. She didn't respond. Jiang Hao was unsure of the other party's intentions. "Do you know the origin of the Dragon Ball?" Hong Yuye suddenly asked. "I don't know. Do you know, senior?" Jiang Hao asked. Hong Yuye raised her eyebrows at him again. This time, she looked at him strangely. "Go and find out by yourself," she said. It means that she didn't know. Jiang Hao thought to himself. Jiang Hao nodded in agreement. If she told him to investigate, he had no other choice. He did know some people from the Dragon Clan. Xiao Li was the most suitable person, even if she had forgotten everything. Next was the one with the Xianyuan sword, which seemed to be sealed. There was also the one from Chaos Stone Island, whom he had never seen and didn't know if he could contact them. As for the Dragon Pearl, he could ask the fish person. Unfortunately, there was no information about them. Did the gathering happen? Hong Yuye asked. Yes. Jiang Hao nodded. Then, he told her everything about the gathering. Senior Dan Yuan was concerned about Old Man Corpse Sea and the backward flow of the Abyssal Sea. However, both matters had been resolved. Since there were many more matters, he mentioned Gu Jin as well. Hong Yuye didn't say much. Later, he talked about the task assigned to Zhang. Hong Yuye looked interested in that. To threaten someone? Yes. Jiang Hao nodded. Hong Yuye didn't ask much about that, but was curious about something else. Did it succeed? Is he very concerned about his wife and children? It succeeded, and indeed, he cares about them very much. It seems that they are more important than his own life. Jiang Hao nodded. How do you plan to deal with his wife and children? Hong Yuye asked. I won't do anything to them. They can continue to stay at the Astronomical Academy. However, they need to do some work, Jiang Hao said truthfully. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 924. Are you willing to work for the Heavenly Note sect? Jiang Hao had never thought of using Man Gus' wife and children to threaten him into submission. That was only part of the plan. It might create unnecessary trouble. If it was dangerous, then it would be better to mention the 9 rain tea leaves. He had to convince the other party. Otherwise, he would only make enemies for no reason, and his gains would not make up for the losses. Taking them to the Astronomical Academy was to save them. However, he did not know if Mangu would know that. Perhaps one day, he would find out. Shouldn't he be glad? Hong Yi asked. For what? Jiang Hao was puzzled. That he is of value to you, she said. You did what he had been trying to do his entire life. Jiang Hao shook his head. He never thought of himself as a good person, nor did he want to be one. Being good always ended up grimly. He was only doing things according to his plan. It had nothing to do with him being good or bad. He was a person who worked by gauging the pros and cons of a plan. He wasn't a good person or a bad person as others thought. He didn't want to be burdened by other people's opinions of him. It's just a mutual exchange. Jiang Hao looked calm and composed. Hong Ye looked at him but remained quiet. Hong Ye was not interested in what Gu Changsheng and Xing wanted to do. After he finished telling her everything, Hong Ye asked, Do you know why the Heavenly Spirit Tribe, a clan that was previously despised, is favored again? Because of the Great Era War? Jiang Hao said. Gu Jin had said that. Almost. Hong Ye nodded and then stared at Jiang Hao. What about you? Are you not joining the Great Era War? Since it was the Great Era War, there would definitely be countless geniuses. Joining them would bring immense benefits. If the one with the Heavenly Tao Foundation establishment, then you have to join as well. Jiang Hao shook his head. I don't want to fight with others. If they want to fight, they might as well. But I want to stay alive and improve myself. Don't you want to make a name for yourself? Hong Yi asked. Not really. Jiang Hao shook his head. Don't you want to be famous? I don't want to. Don't you want to reach the peak and be a hero? I don't want to. Then what do you want? Hong Yi asked. I only want to raise your flower properly, senior, said Jiang Hao. Only the heavenly fragrance Tao flower gave him blue bubbles. The longer he took care of it, the better. Hong Yi looked at him in surprise. How old are you? 40. Jiang Hao sighed. He was no longer young. A normal person at this age would have been married with kids, said Hong Yi. Some of them might even be grandfathers by now, Jiang Hao said. Were you the one who instructed your spirit beast to find you a partner? Hong Yi asked with a smile. Jiang Hao lowered his head. He felt that it was time to set the spirit beast free. Senior, you must be joking. Jiang Hao shook his head. I'm too weak to take care of a partner. You are in the late stage of the Golden Core realm. Hong Yi asked. Jiang Hao nodded and thought for a moment. Mangu is a very strong person, but he ended up in this position. If he didn't have such worries, he might be able to go further. No worries, Hong Yi said. Jiang Hao nodded. He could not control his own life and death. He was still weak. Getting involved in more things would be even more dangerous. Hong Yi stood up and said, Did you find anything overseas? The pawn we have overseas has a high position now, said Jiang Hao. When the time comes, they will be useful. Qi Tian was indeed a very good chess piece, especially when he had met a great benefactor. Jiang Hao could give a good response to Hong Yuye when the time came. As for Feng Hua, that would depend on the Heavenly Note sect. If Mangu had enough information, Feng Hua would have a hard time escaping. As for whether the other party would directly give up on her main body, it was hard to say. It was not impossible for an extremely twisted person to give up her main body and let her avatar become the real her. Hong Yi nodded and then turned around and walked inside. How's your comprehension of the one-heart palm? There is no problem, Jiang Hao said. Hong Yi turned to look at Jiang Hao. Finally, she turned around and walked to the second floor. She went to sleep. Jiang Hao sighed and continued drinking his tea. It was quite good for him. He could leave the tea dregs for the spirit beast. 7 days later, at the 100 Flowers Lake, Hong Yuye sat in the pavilion. She was deep in thought. At that moment, a figure appeared beside the pavilion. Sect Master, Baiji bowed respectfully. What did you find? Hong Yuye asked softly. Mangu has confessed everything, and we have news of Feng Hua. However, she might not stay there long. That's more than enough. Hong Yuye nodded. Baiji hesitated. After Mangu attacked, he was ready for death. He said that his only request was to kill him. We must let Feng Hua know about it. Hong Ye was silent for a moment. Baiji was surprised. Usually, Hong Ye didn't care about the captives' lives. It seemed that Mangu needed to make other arrangements. As expected, a folded note appeared in Hong Yui's hand. She gently waved her fingers, and the note landed in front of Baiji. Give this note to Mangu and ask him a question. The outcome will depend on his answer. If he has made up his mind, do as he wants and kill him. Baiji was shocked. Why did the sect master get involved personally for this person? She did not see anything special about him. However, she did not dare to open the note. Since the sect master gave it to her, it was only meant for Mangu's eyes. She only had to follow the orders. At noon, Mangu sat quietly in his cell at the lawless tower. He waited for his death. He wanted to die because he knew how ruthless Feng Hua was. Creak. The door opened. Insha walked in. Can we do it now? Asked Mangu. There's one last thing, Insha said. He'll cooperate with anything, said Mangu. He had already said everything. Insha placed a note in front of Mangu. This is from the sect master. After reading this, answer one of my questions. If you have made up your mind, you can get what you want. Is this note from the Golden Core realm, Cultivator? Mangu asked. Don't ask about that. Just look at it, Insha said. Mangu had nothing to be afraid of, so he picked up the note and opened it. However, the moment he saw the words inside, he was stunned. It was unbelievable. There was only one sentence written on it. Your wife and child are under the protection of the Astronomical Academy. At that moment, Insha said, the sect master asked me to ask you this. Are you willing to work for the Heavenly Note sect? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 925. A lonely person Baiji brought her men and set off. She had received news that the lawless tower would have an additional person on duty. He looked loyal and willing to go through fire and water. As for why the sect master wanted this, she didn't know and didn't question it. Since he had agreed, he was now a member of the lawless tower. He would do whatever the sect wanted him to do. Perhaps the sect master was just being merciful. On that same day, Jiang Hao arrived at the lawless tower. He didn't see Mangu when he came or know where he had been taken to. He also didn't know if he was still alive. He did not ask further. However, he did want to know what had happened. He should have heard quite a bit about Feng Hua. He wondered how the lawless tower would react. If they wanted to capture her, what level of manpower and planning would I require? He did not know. It was fine as long as Elder Baiji didn't go out. Old Man Corpse C was about to arrive, so Baiji should be the only one who could face him head-on. As for the sect master, Jiang Hao had never seen her. Elder Baiji had always worked as the acting sect master. Perhaps the sect master was already dead, but the sect didn't dare declare that to the outside. Elder Baiji was becoming stronger. One day, she could replace the sect master. At that time, it would be possible to say that the sect master had abdicated and chosen to travel. When they arrived at the 5th floor, Jiang Hao brought wine and meat for Zhuang Yuzhen. He realized that Mu Longyu was still there. Why was he trying to persuade Heavenly King Hai Luo? Mu Longyu hesitated for a moment. Disciple Jiang, can we talk in private? Jiang Hao was surprised. Heavenly King Hai Luo seemed nervous. Jiang had in mind. Since Mu Longyu wanted to talk in private, he could only agree. He couldn't afford to offend such a powerful person. There was no need to offend him. After all, their relationship was not bad. Heavenly King, do you have anything to ask me? Jiang Hao and Mu Longyu walked to the side. I want Hai Luo to go back overseas with me. I wonder if you have any ideas? Mu Longyu asked. Jiang Hao was a little surprised. Why did you want to take Heavenly King Hai Luo back? It's a major issue. Without Hai Luo, we can't proceed, Mu Longyu said. Jiang Hao understood. They needed Hai Luo to become an immortal. However, he knew that even if Heavenly King Hai Luo returned, it would be impossible for the 12 Heavenly Kings to become immortals. There's nothing I can do. Jiang Hao shook his head. If Hai Luo got out, Jiang Hao would have no leverage on him. Besides, he didn't think Hai Luo wanted to escape from the Lawless Tower, so he couldn't force him to do anything he didn't want. Is there really no other way? Mu Longyu asked. Jiang Hao shook his head. When King Hai Luo left, the Lawless Tower had no power over him. Mu Longyu found it hard to believe. He had heard something else. The reason why Heavenly King Hai Luo was obedient was because he wanted to stay here. There was no other way to make him leave the Lawless Tower. Mu Longyu lowered his head. Fellow disciple, you are well informed. You should know something about the overseas area, right? Jiang Hao shook his head. Mu Longyu wasn't surprised. I tried to ascend to immortality once when the path opened, he said. I failed. Do you think it will be easy to become an immortal in the future? I just wanted to try one last time, said Mu Longyu. Jiang Hao sighed. The matter of immortals is beyond what I can understand, so there is nothing I can help with. Mu Longyu felt helpless. He felt that Jiang Hao wasn't telling him the whole truth. However, he couldn't ask too many questions. Then, he thought of something else. Mangu seems to have joined the Heavenly Note sect and is currently working for the Lawless Tower. Elder Baiji has also left your sect. Jiang Hao was surprised. Mangu had joined the Heavenly Note sect? That had never happened before. At least, there had never been any recruitment ever since he came to the Lawless Tower. Why was Mangu allowed to join? Jiang Hao couldn't figure it out. The appraisal result hadn't shown anything special about Mangu, either. Elder Baiji left. If Old Man Corpse C appeared, who would be able to fight him? Most of the branch masters were injured from the last battle. If he had known this earlier, he would have found a way to stall Old Man Corpse C. Old Man Corpse C had come from the west. He only hoped Elder Baiji could return as soon as possible. He also hoped that Old Man Corpse C would arrive much, much later. Jiang Hao walked to Zhuang Yuzin's cell. In the end, he turned his gaze to Bing Qing. They all needed to be interrogated, so he still needed to ascertain the background of these people. Heavenly King Hai Luo had been quite nervous at first, but when he saw that Jiang Hao was ignoring him, he felt smug again. Mu Longyu sighed inwardly. How would he ever be able to become an immortal? A great opportunity had appeared. They needed to work together. This kind of thing would take decades to succeed. It was a 1-in-a-million opportunity. To become an immortal wasn't a small matter. It was almost impossible for all 12 kings to become immortals. There were too many things that needed to be considered. If Heavenly King Hai Luo refused to join them, there would be a missing link. The impact would be huge. They had to think a new way. After hesitating for a moment, he suddenly looked at Jiang Hao. He felt that Jiang Hao was powerful, but the person behind him might be even more powerful. Perhaps he could ask a few more questions. He was not in a hurry. He had not returned yet, so he had a chance to speak. You want to threaten me too? Bing Qing asked Jiang Hao. She looked desperate and desolate. You don't have to threaten me. You have nothing to threaten me. I don't want to live anymore, Bing Qing said. Jiang Hao didn't say anything. He just started the feedback from the appraisal. Bing Qing, a member of the Ice Spirit clan. Her cultivation realm has been disintegrated and absorbed by the Lawless Tower. She is only at the early stage of the primordial spirit realm. She's been lonely since she was young. No one played with her, no one asked her about her condition, no one knew what she was suffering from, and no one extended a helping hand. Ever since she started cultivating, she grew along with her cultivation. She viewed cultivation as her best friend. However, after entering the Lawless Tower, her understanding of cultivation has been overturned. Her cultivation realm disintegrated rapidly. It was like watching a friend die bit by bit. She feels helpless. She keeps crying and feeling like her life is over, and she has nothing to live for. She feels like no one understands her. Jiang Hao was surprised to see this. The information said nothing about the Great Thousand God sect. It only mentioned her. Do you understand me? Bing Qing looked up at Jiang Hao. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.